The ClevelandMoto podcast is brought to you by Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0.
Hey, everybody, light 'em up. It's another episode of the ClevelandMoto podcast. And I'd like to bring attention that we are officially in episode 332, right?
Or 3E2, depending on how you're
3E2
looking at it.
if you read binary. But we have achieved a big thing with our shop, with our podcast here. We have got a sponsor to get us past the trial situation, which is kind of fucking weird.
They probably haven't listened.
Yeah, she sounds like she's actually been listening, though. So, I mean, that's
all right.
So our Anne-Marie, our point of contact at Manscaped, has assured us that that we are going to go forward. As much as we weren't sure whether or not that was going to happen,
right?
It turns out Manscaped is on the ball. And for all of you who did use the promo code.
Thank you.
Right. And what we have to say is, the promo code is ClevelandMoto, and you're going to get 20% off, and you're going to get free shipping anywhere on the damned planet.
And if it's working for you, let us know, because, I mean, we wouldn't endorse something that we didn't use.
No photos, please.
And I have been using it. Yeah, I have been using it. And what I did was, you remember how Hoffert said he wasn't going to use his?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I've done is I've repackaged all of Hoffert's stuff that he's not using on his package. Mm-hmm. And I've got it all set aside so that we're going to do some kind of silly promotion.
Excellent.
And give that up. We'll make that a prize for some kind of stupid. So,
A Patreon for the special Patreon.
Yeah, for some special Patreon. Well,
at the $200 a month level Patreon.
Yes, this will be the special $100 holla out. That's it.
We'll send you at least $100 worth of stuff every month.
We're kind of a small podcast today. We're back to 6. And so to my left, and this is, I would like to call attention, this is your last time?
This is my last time as a regular podcast member.
Wow.
Not necessarily. You may pop back into town.
Yeah, but not regularly. I'm moving down to North Carolina.
And so tell the folks what city you're moving into, because this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I'm moving down to Durham, North Carolina. It's, the whole Durham, Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Research Triangle area. So I'm pretty excited about the weather and riding more often. And I know there's the Incriminators Scooter Club is down there. And,
absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to it.
You'll get in touch with our friends Sarah and Sean Stevens and all the guys down there. And there's a guy by the name of Curly Schwaltka.
Say that 3 times.
Yeah, Curly Schwaltka. And don't let the name fool you, because he runs a shit-hot body shop. And fantastic human being. But the first time I met him, he was rocking a Vespa Rally 200 scooter that because he's a body man, he took the regular Rally 200 panels, cut them, and added other Rally 200 panels to them, therefore making the bike literally wider than it is meant to be. So I don't know if the bike has an internet presence, but at the time it was called the Vespa Rally 200 Double Wide. And yeah.
Dually.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Put dualies on the back for sure, boy. Right? But that bike, it's been in a vampire movie. Like there was a awful Michael Madsen vampire movie, and that bike is featured in it. Like the guy crashes it when it's like a P200. All of a sudden, it instantly turns into a P200 that they crash, but it's like lightly painted in the same way. But I'm going to see if I can find an image search for it. I don't know that I can, but that is definitely. And Curly's made some beautiful paint jobs, and definitely check his shop out when you're down in that area, because he's one of those original Incriminators, the Incriminator Scooter Club. Bad ass. And then today, to his left,
Chris Smith.
Chris Smith has announced that he has a hard out today at 10 o'clock. So enjoy him for the next hour, but we're hoping that he does get a joke together before he leaves. So we have to give him that 5-minute warning so we can get a fucking joke out of him. Yep. Because the jokes that we've been throwing up in your absence have not been fucking good at all.
Well.
They've been a little dangerous, honestly. We're getting some feedback about the low quality of our jokes.
And I do have a question topic for tonight.
Oh, good. That's great.
When we move back around.
Okay, I like everything about that. Yeah, that's cool. And then to his left,
Dan Kromke.
Dan, did you notice there's a bottle of whiskey in front of you?
I did.
So this arrived today, and we're going to talk about that because that's worthy of discussion, and how it got here is worthy of discussion. And to his left,
Johnny Mac.
Johnny McElfresh. I noticed that you're missing your twin. You're missing your symbiote.
Whoa, my
you're
twin.
missing the other half of you. Since you guys have been working together, you've been kind of joined at the hip a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And so what's up with the grumpy sewer guy? Where's he at?
I think the honeymoon's over.
We had a little falling out.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Mac is stepping out.
He had some family engagements.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and that's one of those things. It's one of the only things that I think is
FOs.
The only thing that will let somebody skip the fucking podcast for. So that's a big deal around here. And then of course to my right now,
Steve, Sleepy.
and we I'm surprised that we got this all together, considering about half of our gear ended up going to a Moto Stories at Porco again.
Yep.
And rather suddenly. And this is the dangerous thing, is when you're telling me what gear to grab.
Right.
Because fuck it, dude. There's no way I could tell you how to go in my house and get my gear out of my house.
Oh, we did good. You did a great job.
I laid everything out and took a picture of it.
I raided 3 friends' houses because I didn't have my normal lighting gear. Fernando was in Honduras. My other gear was somewhere else, so I was pulling favors. And
is he going to be able to
things.
get back in the country?
He's back.
Okay.
He's back.
All right. I was a little concerned about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's completely legit, but yeah, you never know with the board. They're like,
That's what I'm saying.
You're a little brown. So yeah.
The whole concept of that is frightening to me because I right now traveling into places like that would be a little bit frightening to me, just a tiny bit.
But cool enough, a quick little story.
Yeah.
So he took a camera with him down there and stuff, and he's walking around and he bumps into a guy that looks crazy. He's a white dude with like crazy dreadlocks and hair and glasses, and he noticed he spoke English. He said, "Where are you from?" He said, "I'm from Aurora, Ohio." He said, "Really?" He said, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "I've been here for 20 years. I was one of the only doctors on this whole area. So for 10 years, I treated all the people and I charged them very little and stuff. But half the town got mad that he wore flip-flops and drank in bars at night. So after a while, somebody complained and they pulled his license. So he decided to move into a tiny, like 40 by 40 or something. I'm sure a house kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And he hosts drinking competitions, and he became a local legend, and now he just parties every night and still lives there.
Fuck. Look, I got to say, that's not wrong.
No, it's not a bad way to go.
No, it's not a bad way to go.
So Fernando inadvertently did a 2-hour documentary with them, so he's going to edit that, and he'll have that out soon.
Get the hell out of here, really?
Yeah, really cool.
Oh, that's super
Aurora,
cool.
Ohio.
Aurora, Ohio to Honduras.
And you got to think, like,
And back.
so for people who don't live here, Aurora, Ohio went from being known for just having Jogga Lake.
Right.
That was the only reason you go to Aurora, Ohio. It was the hinterlands. It was basically just farms. And then what happened is, like, despite the power of Jogga Lake to bring in the worst amusement park patrons that Cleveland has to offer,
Right.
because there's also Cedar Point for people who have money. And Jogga
You have an
Lake
extra
was
$20.
exactly. You have an extra $20, you go to Cedar Point for fuck's sake.
But
if
Cedar
you don't,
Point never had Rotor Man.
well, that's true, but Cedar Point also never had, you could get any type of fungal infection from all the water. Like Jogga Lake decided to go to the water park route real early,
Yeah.
because they were like, well, we kind of maxed out the square footage here. So we're not going to get any more big coasters, and we're not going to try to beat Cedar Point at having like the roller coast and having the world's greatest roller coasters. So they just went, what gets you wet? And so since there was a man-made lake in the middle of it that separated Jogga Lake from, no shit, SeaWorld,
Right.
a landlocked SeaWorld. So like SeaWorld in San Diego, that kind of makes sense. That makes fucking perfect sense. But having SeaWorld in Aurora, Ohio,
It's like Coeur d'Alene, Iowa, or Idaho.
Well,
it is legit. It is straight up. You can't even see Lake Erie from there.
no. And they, when they had that going on, safety was like fifth on
Yes.
their thing.
Yeah.
So if you remember, they had a ski boat
Yep.
that was going at full tilt, and all the steering stopped and working, and the ability to shut the motor
And
off.
it went 70 miles an hour into the audience.
And straight up into him, like skidded through the
Yeah.
whole audience. So
Yeah.
that was not good.
And as a kid, you'd be like, Dad would be like, okay, well, kids, you're going to get to go to Jogga Lake today or SeaWorld. We're going to go to Jogga Lake or SeaWorld. And the kids would just be like, Jogga Lake. And Mom would be like, SeaWorld. And Dad'd be like, we're going to SeaWorld.
Yeah.
And then the kids would be like, that sucks because you're at SeaWorld and you can see all the rides at Jogga Lake.
And
you
they're
can
laughing and
hear
screaming.
people laughing and screaming. And at SeaWorld, you're learning things. And occasionally a giant fish jumps out of the water.
Well, and then they let you. So like, there was this one guy that always let me touch a starfish, but I always thought it was like a sting. But it was
We know who
gross.
that guy
It was
was,
chocolate.
too.
It was a
Yeah,
chocolate
it was,
starfish.
it was gross. I'm not sure that was exactly what it was
Right.
supposed to be.
He
going
said-
in there.
He basically said, there's this hole in the wall in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And if you
Reach
wait,
in and touch the
the
starfish.
starship will show up. The starfish will
Close
show
your
up in a minute.
eyes and smile.
That's
Oh,
Curly, by
it's
the way. I
blowing
pulled that up.
bubbles.
That's my buddy Curly Schwatka. So Curly Schwatka there, and that's his mod bike, which is a rally. P200 with it's got Rally 200 panels on it. That's what fucked me up. It's a P200 with Rally 200 panels. So there you go. That's the double wide. So yeah, Curly is an awesome cat. We like him very much. And there he is. Oh my God, children. Oh my God, we got to be careful. So this is hanging out in his garage, like by his house. That's Curly. Hey, Curly, how you doing, man? I'm sure he watches the podcast and listens. But so you check him out because he is at a place called Collision Specialists Incorporated in Durham, North Carolina. And he runs that shop. So that's his joint. If you ever break anything, take it to him. And all of our listeners should as well because he's a fucking good dude. What the fuck? I just got this in my head about Jogga Lake again. Because Jogga Lake went from literally being, you wouldn't even consider living there,
Right.
to being like Barrington Estates Golf Resort took over the town.
Aurora.
Well,
yeah.
it depends.
Well, they have that outlet there. That's
There was an outlet
much
shopping mall, and there was
all-
also like a peddler's village, like a Yankee peddler's colonial arcade thing that was all like when I was younger, it was all like period correct shopping of early Americana. And there'd be like 9 or 10 different stores that were all basically.
So let me divulge some information.
Yeah.
So in 2009, when my wife decided that she wanted to go with my intern and left, the courts really don't give a lot of the guys very much information. So to my understanding, I thought I had to live within 5 miles of her. So since she took all my money and stuff, she got a good house, and then I was left to kind of ponder around, and I drew a circle. And so next to Aurora, there's Reminderville and Aurora Shores.
Correct. Right.
So I lived in Aurora Shores in a foreclosed house I bought for really cheap.
Aurora Shores, which, by the way, I'll remind people that the only lake in Aurora is a man-made pit.
Well, and the second one, because Aurora Shores has their own man-made
They have their own
pit.
man-made lake. Right.
And then
Yeah.
they dug canals behind all the houses so you could drive your boats.
Get out of here.
Yeah, so it's like a boating community. Everybody has like the boat ropes in front of their house and sails and stuff. It's stupid. But and then it's a neighborhood where, I mean, the same guy lives in every house.
Okay, all right.
It's like this. There's no. I'm not even talking about diversity in different color
Right.
or anything. I'm saying there's no diversity.
There's no diversity.
It's a balding dude with a white baseball cap, way too short shorts, white sneakers, and fucking whatever. And that's every house.
So basically, it's a homeowners association with some people living in it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Not the scene for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did. Now I looked at it, and it's a fucking man-made reservoir that just. And you're right. They made little. Yeah, they made little tributaries to go.
Right, but
Boat
no
alleys.
jet skis,
Boat
no anything
alleys.
like that. Only like pontoon boats, and
Electric
small
pontoon boats
Yeah.
only. Yeah. Oh, that sucks, man.
But then across the lake
Yeah.
are the $500,000 houses.
oh.
So you'd have the Aurora Shores people on Saturday at the beach,
Yeah.
quote, like
beach.
drunk, partying, fire going.
Look at the fucking map. I'm gonna zoom out so people can see how far away that is from an actual lake. Like we have a lake. I'm gonna put that in scale so you can understand. That's a lake.
Oh, now that's
okay?
a fucking lake.
That's a fucking lake. Like my German family used to come over here and be like, "Oh yeah, we're going to look at Erie Sea." They called it Erie Sea, and I was like, "Fuck yeah." Because I've been to Lake Chiemsee and stuff, and stuff, and it's way smaller than Lake Erie, like way fucking smaller.
Look at Lake St. Clair, how stupid small it is.
Well, there you go. But this is what's hilarious is I'm going to keep zooming in until you can see the little fucking wet spot, like the little spit that is where you used to live, and how they called that a boating association.
See if you can zoom in and see Seaside Circle.
Oh my
that
God.
That was my spot.
That was your jam,
man,
Seaside Circle?
Yeah,
Look
like-
at that. It is clearly just a fucking reservoir.
Place is on fire.
That place is on.
Do you see that little loop? You see the little loop?
I
right,
do.
Right in the middle?
Right there.
That was my spot.
That was your
Seaside
spot? Right there?
Man. No, keep going. Keep going up.
Yeah.
See,
Right
like
there?
nope, down. See the fake
Oh,
cul-de-sac
this thing right
looking
here.
thing? Right in the middle, right where you're.
Right here.
Nope, keep going to the right there.
Oh, that little thing.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
You mean the only houses in the whole place that didn't get a water view?
Yeah.
Out of the entire place, they built the entire place so that there would be the maximum amount of people to have a backyard that butts up to something
Wait,
wet.
Can I tell you something better?
Yeah.
So that whole development.
Decide whether it's better.
Well, no, the whole development was built on loam. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So the houses are sinking.
They're all sinking.
And
Yeah.
so the walls were separating from the ceiling. So that's nothing that a little spackle can't slap up and
my
make it perfect before you sell the house.
Steve, I'm going to call the attention to the fact that you already knew this. The fucking name of the street is Surfside.
Right.
There is neither surf.
Second house. See the second house see the first house in the circle?
Yeah,
the second
On the
one,
top?
that was
The
my
one at
house.
1 o'clock?
Right where your mouse was. Yeah.
Right. The one at 1 o'clock.
That was my pad.
That was your bad.
I got it for 120 foreclosed and I sold it for 240.
Nice.
3
I can
years
see
later.
what they're doing with these Venetian canal ideas, trying to give
Yeah.
you that whole thing. But honestly, my only plus to this would be like in the wintertime if it all froze over and you could ice skate
Oh,
everywhere.
you did. They played hockey. And
Yeah, right. Yeah, for real. I'd fucking put spikes on the tires and go.
Smith, why is your mic off all of a sudden? Are you not?
I don't know.
Oh, no, you're
that's-
right
your
on.
face
Oh,
was
he's right
off.
on money
Yeah.
there. Beautiful. All right, so now that we've had our geography lesson of Cleveland, Ohio, and the surrounding areas, et cetera, dot. So, yeah, fucking I. So, I did buy some bikes last night. So I left Cleveland and I went to Detroit.
So you weren't just picking those up for service or anything?
No, I bought them. So the first one, so you're looking up the I'll pull this picture up because it's just fucking hilarious. This gentleman called me and said, I've got some bikes you got to buy. And I said, I'll be the judge of that. And he said, okay, well, what I got is I've got a 2009 Vespa GTS in blue, GTS 250 with a Michigan State University paint scheme. Yeah, he does. And I got a pink Vespa LX 150. Oh yeah, that's gonna sell real fast. Not. And so I was like, okay. And he's like, well, hold on. There's more to the story. It is that the Michigan bike GTS has 0 actual miles, and that my wife's bike, the pink one, had 63 miles. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna offer you a pittance for it, and because he's like, well, yeah, we put new batteries in them, and basically what it turned into, we had our servant put new batteries in them and they wouldn't start. So big surprise, I want to sell them. So I go up there and I see this bike and I'm like, shit, I've seen that bike before. So in 2009, there was this car dealership that was like sports cars in Ypsilanti, Michigan. And they had, in order to get their dealer permit, they basically signed on to be a Vespa dealer just to get a dealer's license number.
Oh, okay.
Right? So they could be a car dealer and all have all the things that go with it, like temp tags and dealer plates, and then just sell Vespas, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the guy was a doctor, and he had like a bunch of Jaguars and shit like that. But a couple of my friends worked there over the years, and I'd go up and deliver bikes and pick up bikes or parts or whatever. And so, Ypsi, for us, that's maybe 2.5 hours away, 3 hours away. It's not such a bad deal. But in 2008, the economy took this weird turn, right? Mm-hmm. Some of you may remember it. It got a little weird around here. And so all these guys who had motorcycle dealerships and Vespa dealerships and shit like that, they had the best year ever when gas was $5 a gallon. And you could literally get a loan if you could print your own name. Then 2009 hit, gas went to $2.25 a gallon. They tightened up. Everybody's mortgages foreclosed. Nobody had any money. And anybody with a motorcycle shop that had pre-ordered 400 Vespas, all those bikes came in, they had no way to pay for them. Mm-hmm. And so the banks were like, we're coming to get our Vespas now. And they did, and put hundreds of dealerships out of business. And I remember going up there because they'd stopped carrying Genuine Scooter Company, and I went up there to buy like all of their remaining Buddy scooters and their displays and their T-shirts and their hats and everything they had, because they went out of business in the most extreme way possible.
Everybody.
Yeah, every goddamn Buddy. And I went in there and they were like liquidating the whole place. But that blue Vespa was in the window of the dealership with all that Michigan shit on it. So then I go up, and this guy is in Ann Arbor, Michigan, on a road that I can best describe as being private as shit, because it's like it's not even paved.
Oh, wow.
And when I got to the guy's mansion that was built in a circle so his mansion could look at the other mansions, why would you do that? if you're going to have a fucking mansion, have your mansion out where only like the only thing you got to look at is trees or lake. They literally built a cul-de-sac with just mansions.
They just did that in Chagrin Falls.
That's the dumbest thing ever.
And the one house is made out of glass. So like
Okay.
if you forgot a towel, your neighbors are like, oh, there's his 23-year-old wife is pretty naked.
Or, yeah. But the worst thing is like, okay, I'm sure your view out your back door is spectacular, but let's do this. Let's make the small part of the house, the part that points to the cul-de-sac.
Right.
Let's make that the garage.
Right.
And the service entrance. And let's not make it pretty at all. And let's make the beautiful, awesome, all glass part of the house looking out into the forest.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the fucking deal is, other than you just want to show off to your friends your baller mansion.
Right. When
your friends are the other 4 guys who own mansions in the circle around you.
You got to have somebody to compete with.
That's exactly what it is. I think that's all it is competition. Right?
Smart people with money, they live where nobody else lives.
Right. That's where I would be.
Yeah.
When I have a party, I want the neighbors to come over,
Bingo.
walk over, and eat all my food.
And meanwhile, you move into something like that, you never talk to your neighbors for the
Hey,
next 25
John,
years.
is that a new car that you get today?
Yeah. So this guy, among other things, he was like, oh, Midwestern Automotive Group down there. Yeah. You used to work there. That's great. I bought my first 6 Porsches there. In the same trip? What the fuck,
And they were Boxsters or something terrible.
Well, he had a Hummer in the driveway.
Oh, good.
A big yellow Hummer. But anyway, I digress. So here's the crazy thing, though, that I did want to bring up. Think about that for a second. 0 miles.
Yeah.
So 0 miles, that's hard to do, right? Because the dealer takes it out of the crate.
Right.
The dealer puts a battery in it. The dealer takes it for a ride and puts gas in it. All of those things basically end up putting at least a mile on the bike, right? I mean, I don't think you could do that without putting a mile on the bike.
Is there a half a mile on the bike?
0.0.
Oh my God.
So
Did you guys lift it up to put it where it is now, or did you actually roll it?
The funny thing is, rolling it out of his driveway into the back of my truck and rolling it from the back of my truck to here has not been sufficient to put 0.1 miles on it. Although I would tell you, I don't think the miles calculate unless the ignition's turned on because it's an electronic speedo.
Oh. We need to call Curly Schwatka.
We can call Curly. Call Curly. Get Curly on the case. But the reason I think this is crazy is this guy bought this bike, right? He bought it. He spent a lot of money on it. I know how much money they were back in the day. But in the entire time he owned it, and in the entire time the dealership had it, which I know it was in the front window of their shop for quite a long time, nobody ever took it out and rode it even around the goddamn block. Wow. That's crazy to me. I mean, that's fucking bonkers. To me, that makes no sense. And I pulled this picture up just to show you. 0 fucking miles. That's
Ted's Vespa. Don't touch it. It's the owner's.
Exactly. Right. I think that might have been it. But 0, and on the trip meter, it says 0.0, because on the trip meter, it gives you the point .0.
Now, the almost full tank of gas, has that been there since
So this is exactly
2008?
it. That's right. So exactly what I told the guy. I was like, well, did I just buy a 13-year-old tank of gas? In which case, that's great, because that's pre-ethanol. I'm joking. It's probably rotten. But what is funny is these bikes did have a fuel pump recall. So a lot of the Italian bikes and a lot of the bikes of the era, they were using a certain brand of fuel pump that was made of a not so great grade of plastic that didn't work well with ethanol. And what would happen is you'd start the bike up and the fuel pump would work and it would spin up the fuel injectors all the way it should. And the bike would work fantastically, no problem. You'd park the bike, you'd get off the bike, you'd go into the gas station, pump your gas, do whatever you're going to do, wash your hands, take a shit, come back out, start the bike, dead as a fucking doornail. Wouldn't start. What happened is the impeller inside the fuel pump was swelling. So the heat getting into the gasoline and the ethanol together caused the impeller to swell. And when you turn the key on, the impeller couldn't spin. It happened. It caused a lot of bikes to be dead on the side of the road. Here's the symptom. Rode my bike for 20 minutes, parked it. Did something for 5 or 10 minutes, came out, started it up again, wouldn't start. Call the guy that comes and picks it up. I'm usually that guy. I show up at the place and I just tell the guy, just leave the keys where I can get to him. Great. And so the guy's standing there. He's been waiting for me for 2 hours. And I walk up to the bike, turn the key on, press the button, the bike starts perfectly. These people would get so upset, so fucking pissed off at me. And I'm like, look, don't feel bad. If you'd have walked over and pressed the button, it would have started for you too. The only difference is you could have ridden it to my shop instead of paying $90 for me to take it to my shop. Yeah. But since I'm here, you're paying the $90. And so I'd throw it up in the back of the truck, literally ride it up onto the back of the truck. But nobody knew that, right? Nobody knew the symptom. And so, yeah, Vespa did a recall on these. So today, 13 years or 12 years, James did a recall on that bike today.
Wow.
He did.
Wow.
So James did a recall on it. What's that?
Did they honor it?
We got a fuel pump coming.
Awesome.
Nice.
How fucking cool is that?
It's all right.
So that also tells you if you got a Vespa GTS and it runs for a while and you shut it off and then 10 minutes later it won't restart, and if it's a 10-year-old GTS, guess what? Go see your fucking dealer. Go see a Vespa dealer. I think you got a recall coming to you. So that's it. And you know what? We forget about that. When John worked at the shop, we knew all the current recalls. We knew all the shit was happening with those bikes, like our Triumph problems with the 12-volt systems. We knew all the things because they're fresh in our head every day. But 10 years later, you forget all about that. And 10 years later, those bikes are coming into their third owner or second owner, and they don't know anything about that. So your bike might have some ancient ass recalls that you could be taking advantage of. So, and which realistically, who knows? Maybe this guy didn't ride the bike because he was worried about that or whatever.
Isn't there's I know they have for
Maybe
cars.
he was an Ohio State fan, too.
Yeah, that too.
Well, that presents a problem.
But don't they have websites where you can type in your VIN number and it'll tell you any recalls?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing to do. That's a really good thing to do.
That's like the whole, air-cooled Volkswagen thing with the maple syrup smelling heater core thing or whatever, where, I've heard of, oh, thank you, Chris. I've heard of people like getting a recall on like an old Volkswagen Beetle, like 40 years later.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And do we have any idea what the story was behind that?
No, I don't.
Got it.
That's the
I have
end of
no
the
idea
story.
what's behind it.
And 9/11 was an inside job.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you see that? Whose skull is that? A guy named Philip. What's in it? Vodka and orange juice. It's a Phillips head screwdriver. Chris, that's the standard. You got to beat that.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Yikes.
that's it. Once you beat that, you're good to go. So yeah, I got those two bikes. 65 miles on the pink one, 0 miles on the GTS. But that's not the fucking story. The story is our friend Ron sold what's holding Chris's jacket up right now, which is one of my favorite bikes. You're talking about misunderstood bikes. You want to talk about bikes that nobody understands. We want to talk about, a bike that is so ugly only a mother could love it.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
I read up on it. It's pretty interesting.
It is, and I love the dash. The dash is sexy as fuck.
So the bike is called a Vespa Cosa, C-O-S-A. And the Vespa Cosa, and I've just managed to lose my internet connection for a hot minute, so we'll see what that's all about. But the deal and why this is important is that Vespa Cosa is a Vespa that was after the P series. Now everyone thinks, the P series, well, they're still building P series today, and that's true. But the Cosa was something when they said, okay, technology has moved on. That's great. What we're going to do is we're going to continue to make advancements to the Vespa line of 4-speed shifting 2-stroke scooters.
The era is 1991 to 96
I think
or something?
80. I think 80ish.
Late 80s to into the
Yeah, I think
90s.
80ish.
Well, I did, because you posted,
Yeah.
so I had to do research. I think there's Mach 1 and Mach 2.
There
Mach
are,
1
yeah.
is 88 to 91, and Mach 2 is 91 to whatever
Right.
you said, like 96 or something like that.
And that Vespa Cosa, and again, it was unveiled at the Milan Motorcycle Show in 1987. And what's crazy about the Cosa is there are so many weird elements to it. First of all, it's the only 2-stroke Vespa, shifter Vespa, that has an under-seat storage area you can put a helmet in, which is fucking weird.
Does that one have a tachometer?
It does.
Yeah.
So it has a tachometer.
And the seat, it looks like it could be on a jet ski. It's that big.
Yep. Oh, the seat is crazy. But I'm going to say, conservatively, the nicest thing you can say about a Vespa Cosa is that it did have more horsepower than any of the 200cc Vespa Cosa was a straight up legit 12 horsepower Vespa, which was much, much more power, much hotter than previous Vespas. And what was kooky was it still had all the stuff. It had the removable leg shields. It had the 4-speed manual transmission. It was still a 2-stroke.
When you look at the front end of it, it's like a pre-LX.
It is a pre-LX. And that is, I think that was like, oh, well, somebody had a crystal ball and went, well, in about a week and a half, these are all going to be automatics. Let's have one last fucking run at it. And this is what I think is so fucking crazy about the Vespa Cosa is the Germans fell in love with it. I mean, they couldn't get enough of the bike. The bike was wildly popular in Germany, but the styling, the best way to describe the styling is it's like you went backwards at a wall really, really, really fast.
They wanted more angular.
And there's so many weird things.
Look at those hubcaps.
The hubcaps with the 3 holes, you know, like the styling on this bike was every fucking where.
What are those 3 holes for?
Well, it's
just
German,
a
so
hubcap.
they was German, so they're trying to imply something.
Right. It's it's literally just a hubcap because the regular bike, you know, this is what a Cosa looks like.
I like the mirrors. The mirrors, like the engineers and designers were like, "Hey, Chuck went, or not Chuck? Where was it? Italy." So I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
Mario. Luigi. Yeah,
Yeah.
he went hunting last week and they shot moose.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "I got the mirror design."
We got the mirrors for you.
Yeah.
Years ago, when I was in Germany, I bought a Cosa motor and took it apart and shipped it home in my luggage because I wanted to put the Cosa motor in my race bike. So I had a T5 125 with a Cosa motor in it. But the styling on this bike, it's just kind of bad. It's kind of sad. But I love it for some reason.
It's the only Vespa I've ever seen that's 3 position on the seat. You could have 3 people on it.
Yeah.
Like it seems like.
But the styling is terrible. The styling is really awful. But in case you weren't sure how bad the styling was, I'm going to tell you there's one feature of the Vespa Cosa that does put the rest of it to shame, and that is it has linked hydraulic brakes. And so what makes the Vespa Cosa so frickin' weird is that if you push the foot brake for the rear, it does not engage a cable going to the rear brake as Vespas have done forever. There's a hydraulic pump. So we have a master cylinder under your feet. And that sends hydraulic juice to the rear brake. But it also sends hydraulic juice forward to the front brake, which is a hydraulic drum as well. There is a cable going from the handlebar brake down to the front brake as well. So if you want to just use the front brake, which anybody who's ever ridden a vintage Vespa will tell you that's never a good idea. If you just want to use the front brake, you use the hand. If you want to use both brakes together and lose all sense of proportioning for them, you just use the foot. It's the exact opposite of the way the system should work. It should be like foot only rear brake, hand should be both, you know,
Right.
like that. That would be the correct way to make it work. But the bike is a very, very weird bike. And I have another one. I have a late model German one that Germans used. But why that German one is important is that's called a Vespa Cosa GS 200. And the Vespa Cosa GS 200 is the German one. And it's not better in any way other than like the trim package is decidedly German. And because they use the term GS, which is Grand Sport, the Grand Sport version of it just has nicer everything on it because Germans. So I do have a Teutonic gray Grand Sport. There's a picture of it right there. I'll pull this up for you guys so you can see what my GS looks like. And so you can say my GS. And so when you say my GS, people lose their damn mind because they're like, oh, you got a GS. Well, this is my GS, right? But my GS is very much a Cosa. So, yeah, that will get your fucking attention. So that's one of the things that it's such a weird bike. It has a plastic glove box. The turn signals don't make any sense if you're used to looking at Vespas. There's a better blow-up picture of it for anyone who's watching. But they're so fucking weird. Like even in the world of Vespas, it's a weird bike.
It's kind of weird because like the LX and all the modern Vespas are clearly not vintage Vespas. But this is clearly a precursor to that.
Yeah.
But it does look like a vintage Vespa.
Sure. It has some vintage, but I don't think there's one single part that gets shared. Hello, good out.
Oh my God.
I don't think there's one single part that gets shared with the P200,
Right.
or any of its predecessors. I think it's a clean sheet build. But man, you talk about love it or fucking hate it. This is a good example of love it or fucking hate it because, yeah, that's the Cosa GS in all of its splendor right there. That's the good side. Yeah, that's the good side. But it does look like the Lego scooter. It looks like
this seat's not as bad as this seat. This seat is a fucking amazing.
Yeah, the seat that's on this one got the full treatment. So this one that's over here is kind of the newer look. So yeah, but I'm really happy with it. And he did somehow or another he finagled a title. Yay!
But you have your what is that a 60? What is the one next to it? A 60 something?
That's a 65 next to it. That's a Vespa Super Sport.
So that whole Vespa is within the seat of.
Yeah, you could never look at the Vespa Cosa and go, "Oh, that's going to be an uncomfortable seat."
No,
but it is not an uncomfortable seat. It's a big fucking marshmallow, is what it is.
How much does that thing weigh compared to?
I think they weigh pretty much the same as a regular Vespa. There's a few
there's
more
a lot
parts.
of plastic there.
That's the right answer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking plastic there. So yeah, there's a lot of plastic that used to be metal on the regular bike. So it's just weird. The side panels work weird. Everything's fucking weird. So I brought that home. So it was a great thing. I left Cleveland at 6 p.m. and I got back to my house at 1:30 a.m. with a very heavy pickup truck. Yeah.
So happy
Super
day.
cool. Happy day. Absolutely. Oh, happy day. I love buying bikes. I love getting cool shit, weird shit, whatever. So, and everyone, of course, is like, well, what are you going to sell that for? What are you going to sell that for? I was like, well, the Cosa. I'm not selling that fucking thing at all, man. SIP in Germany has, because the Germans. So SIP, they secretly love Cosas. And all the weird unobtainable hydraulic hoses for the brake system on that thing are all like press and click it right now on SIP. They'll ship it to your house. So this winter, I'm going to fully fucking mechanically restore 2 Cosas. Yeah. And I don't want to read a single manual that's not in German. Yeah. I'm going to do it. I'm going to listen to Falco the whole time. Yeah. That's it. Just going to be like Mana das Westens and so on replay the whole time. Yeah.
And Can. You got to pull up some old krautrock and just play Can,
Oh, yeah. I'm going to set myself up right over there in that area. I'll set up 2 lifts with my work tools in the middle, and I'll just have 2 fucking Cosas. Yep. And that'll be my winter project. It's just mechanical on 2 Cosas. So I'm very excited about it. Couldn't be happier. German Vespas.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
I don't kink shame, so.
Yeah, that's right. That is some kink shit right there. And people are like, God, it's fucking ugly. Why would you even want that? I'm like, because you don't have one.
It's like a K. It's like a K car kind of hit a fucking Vespa.
You know what? And you're right. It is like it's one of those things. It's like the K car. It was like somebody's like, this is a great fucking idea. Yep. But then they were just literally, yeah, you're right. That was a great idea. Whoa, man, Lee, you got any more of that shit? I mean,
let's build a bike that can compete with the plush styling of a Bajaj.
I think this is what happens. Yes, this is what happens when the Italian Lee Iacocca has a meeting with the fucking German DeLorean guy, and they both sit there and they're having fucking grappa and schnitzel. Like it's the worst,
and with the seat.
You can't imagine the success we've enjoyed with the new styling on our Bajaj.
And the German guy had a rough weekend and he couldn't sit on the normal seat, so they had to bolster it a little bit and give him some padding, just in case.
Well, you know what? To back up John's situation there, because I really do want to break this down. The bike John's talking about isn't the Bajaj that we're thinking of from 1980 with the normal stuff. The bike John's talking about is the Bajaj Legend. The Bajaj Legend is an eyesore from any angle. The Bajaj Legend sold in America starting here in 2000, 2002. The Bajaj Legend with a headset that escaped the Indian space program. The Bajaj Legend is truly awful from every angle.
They were like, you know what curves need? And they're like, what?
Yeah.
Squares.
They stole the headset from Robbie the Robot.
Or a Honda Spree.
Yes, exactly. The Bajaj Legend, that bike was a bike that you could buy in the United States. That's my favorite picture is the 3 colors. When we started selling these bikes, this is all you could get. Silver blue blush, cyber light green, and metallic blue. Wow. That was the 3 colors. Look at this website, Javits Cycles from Athens, Georgia. This was back in the day. I mean, this is a very, very old piece of the internet I'm going to pull up. It is so...
Just $19.99.
They were $19.99. Brand fucking new bike for $19.99 in year of our Lord 2001. And we all of us dealers in America, we got our start with this. And the one on the left is the Cheetah. Yep. The one on the right is the Legend.
Okay.
And as you could see, you could kind of get rid of that nose assembly and make it into a P200 looking bike.
Yep.
The legend was just unforgivable. The front fender and the headset, the seat, everything about it. Now, what they eventually did was they raised the price on the Cheetah a couple of $100, and I think they were $2,300, but you could still get the Legend with for $19.99. I mean, you're talking cheap. There's the 2002 colors. I still got
Ferrari red.
I still have thousands of these flyers because they gave us. Every glove box had at least 200 flyers in it.
How long did it get before they got a cease and desist from Ferrari? Ferrari's very not cool with people using Ferrari red.
This was all done by a guy named Al Colvitis out of South San Francisco, who was the U.S. official
Is he
importer.
related to alcoholic?
Hey. Well, I do think he was at the time. I think the company he was working for was Sky Vodka. I think they were importing Sky Vodka into the States at the time. Somebody will correct me on that. But this thing was straight up. But in 2002, people were excited to see this because remember, the only Vespa that was in America at the time was an ET2 and an ET4.
Scroll down. Does that say a 4-stroke engine?
It is a 4-stroke. It's a 4-stroke 145. Oh. Extraordinarily good at revving low, extraordinarily explosive at revving high. So we built an exhaust for this called the POC HMF pipe. A hard motherfucker. And the exhaust eventually earned the nickname the back of the pack pipe. So it was the POC HMF, which is Hans Moto Fabric, who makes awesome exhaust systems. We teamed up, we engineered and designed this pipe. I love that. We engineered and designed this pipe. We basically took a prototype pipe that we made out of bent tubing and kept shortening it until we got the highest horsepower figure, creating back pressure as we went along. And then we engineered it so that we could use repackable, so we could literally take the pipe apart and repack the fiberglass inside as many times as you wanted. Therefore, our pipe was literally
repackable,
lifetime pipe.
Yeah, right.
It was stainless steel. The guys at HMF did a beautiful job of building it. It was hard as nails. You couldn't break the fucking thing. I mean, it was ungoddamn breakable. We sold them for $230 a piece.
With the header and everything?
Stainless steel header, pipe, the whole deal.
Oh, that's a great
beautiful beautiful badge on the side, the whole thing. Super steal of a price. And I think we did 350 or 400 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, people were lined up. And we did everything. We did the labeling, we did the marketing, we did the packaging, we sent them all out. The one year for Christmas, Merritt and I rushed hard so we could get them pipes out 2 weeks before Christmas so people could get them in time for Christmas. Merritt and I boxed up in our house and shipped out 200 pipes. Yeah. Because we had a special deal. If you bought them before Christmas, we were going to give them to you for like $225 or something. It was a little discount or something. But I'm not joking. The voltage regulators on these things exploded. Because Americans don't know that you have to keep a battery charged. So Americans would just let the battery die and then kickstart it. And that was the voltage regulator was like, no, I'm not meant to do that. No, I'm not a battery charger. I'm just a voltage regulator. Fuck you. And then it would blow up. And then the flywheels separated because the flywheels decided they were only meant to ever go 4,000 RPM. But Americans like to ride 150 on the freeway at 7,000 RPM. And those flywheels, those Indian-built flywheels would just like, and they'd take off and kill the guy in the car next to you. Yeah. Shit happened a lot. So,
Ripped through like 5 windshields.
Fucking crazy, man. So anyway.
Oh, what a flywheel will do. I mean, like there have been plenty of motorsports events where the flywheel comes out of the car.
Yep.
Like they were doing a burnout contest or something, and it flew out of the car through the fender well, through the thing, shot across a field, and went through a fucking trailer.
Well, it's a device meant to store energy.
Exactly.
It's gonna use that energy.
But did you ever see?
Release the energy.
Turn your mic. Did you ever see?
Turn your mic.
Sorry, I wanted to hear what you said. I wasn't trying to be rude.
No, you.
The guys from Mythbusters,
Right.
they wanted to make that German war thing with the rocket. They redid it, and they expected it. Like they had like brick walls built and stuff. They thought it was going to go through everything, and they dropped it and it hit the grass and went like 7 feet and then fell over.
Yep.
It was like this giant thing, and they spun it up, and it was crazy. But they didn't calculate how squishy the grass was and how much like energy it would suck up, and it was hilarious.
Well, there's another one where recently somebody had powered up a 9,000 pound flywheel to create energy. So they were like, okay, we're going to use a very small amount of energy to get going. So we're going to get it going very slowly over time. But then it's going to have all this inertia and we're going to peel electricity off of it. Right. And so they got it going. And then the guys, like, they had to come to Jesus. They were like, wait a second. if any part of this fails, we have a 9,000-pound flywheel that's just going to kill everybody.
Yeah.
And then they were like, maybe we should back up further. I was like, yeah, like Idaho. What the fuck? When a 9,000-pound flywheel lets go, everyone's going to die.
Unless it hits muddy grass.
So preoccupied on whether or not they should do it. They didn't think whether
Right.
or
Yeah, they could or
other
should.
way. Yeah.
It is
Well,
the
that was-
other way.
That's pretty much what all those old stationary engines were. I mean, it was a pathetic little steam engine or something like that, but it was enough to get this huge flywheel
Yeah.
Well,
whirring along. And
Did you ever
you
see-
could run a factory.
Hit
Did
or
you ever
miss
see
on-
like they take those things, the hit and miss motors, and they can actually run at 0 RPM?
Yeah.
Because it'll roll this way and then roll that way,
Yeah.
then roll this way and that. So it's really doing. Yeah,
It's
very-
not doing an RPM.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's doing a sweep.
Right.
So do you guys remember when you were kids and grandma had that gold-colored exercise bicycle in the basement?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And the
Yes.
front wheel was a big old flywheel?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it had like the world's worst caliper side pull brake on it in case
Oh,
shit
yeah.
went sideways.
Yeah,
So when I was a kid, one of the best tricks we ever had was we'd get on that thing and we would crank it up to 1,000 RPM or whatever it was, and then you'd lean forward on the handlebars as far as you could
Oh, and it-
until the flywheel touched down on the carpet.
Oh my God.
And when the flywheel would touch down on the carpet, it would rock your world. It was just game on. And like the idea was it would buck like a Bronco one time, and then your friends had to like catch it so it didn't like take out the piano or whatever, right?
Right.
And yeah, fucking hilarious, man. But I did go real hard on it one time. I got it cranking and I committed to doing a stoppie on it. But when I did the stoppie on it, I endoed the whole bike.
Oh, yeah.
So I endoed the whole bike and we shot across the entire basement. And it turns out that plywood, I'm sorry, what do they call that stuff?
Wood paneling.
Paneling.
Yeah.
Paneling has a 1-inch furring strip behind it before you get to the cinder block wall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That does not absorb a lot of energy. No, mostly it goes into the 9-year-old. And yeah, it was hilarious
It'll
because
absorb
like,
one 9-year-old.
oh, it destroyed the paneling. The paneling just fucking,
No, nobody gives a shit about the panel.
no, it was gonzo. No, yeah, they did. My dad, he'd come in and be like, you're bleeding on the carpet. Yeah, and that's a problem. So yeah, that shit's dangerous, man. Flywheels store a lot of fucking energy. So yeah, that's that. Anyway, on to other shit.
Well, still talking about flywheels real quick. I just
Yeah.
watched a YouTube video of a guy who was trying to implement a Formula One KERS system with a like flywheel storage of energy
Okay, yeah.
in a bicycle.
What?
And it was pretty cool how he had it. He basically had a like a lever on the handlebar that would
Okay.
engage a clutch that would spin up a flywheel.
When you're going down a hill or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then,
All right.
and then you could come to a full stop, disengage that clutch, come to a full stop, and then, sort of engage the clutch again to reuse that energy that's stored in the flywheel.
Okay, yeah.
And it didn't work very well.
What? Because on a bicycle, excessive mass is not necessarily a good thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the amount of mass that he added to the flywheel
Yeah.
wasn't enough for it to function very well as a flywheel.
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I can tell you what works awesome as a flywheel. The log splitter flywheel thing, just a big steel flywheel
yeah.
with a X.
Oh, with an
to
axe
it.
head on it?
And you have to, it's spinning,
What?
and you go, ka-tunk, ka-tunk,
Oh my God.
ka-tunk.
Oh, okay. All right. Until any part of your clothing gets.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Scary as fuck, but they
That
work
is scary
great.
as fuck. Yeah, but they're great. Yeah,
sure.
That's super fun. That's super fun and super cool. But that was that. By the way, look at the ass on that bike.
It's amazing.
Look at the ass on that thing. That is truly,
It's like a double-decker bus.
my God, the back of that bike is just as offensive as anything's ever been.
Should be like an eyeball painted on that little plastic part underneath the seat.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see this thing in its splendor. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that is just me being stupid. It's just such an ugly bike. You're right. It does look like a double-decker bus.
Does it run?
Yeah, it runs. I rode it before. It's a bad sign when you go to pick a bike up and you tell the guy, I'm going to be there at about 9:30, and you're running late, and you pull down his street and you see the headlight on, and he's been running the bike for 20 minutes waiting for you to get there because he knows it won't start. Because he bump started it probably 100 times, and he's had 15 minutes to recover. But it was running when I got there, and I took it for a ride. And he's like, "Yeah, just so you know, I'm not making any promises. It's really hard to start." And I'm like, I wouldn't even be here buying it if I wasn't fully aware of what demons lie in front of me. Look, there are certain things when you buy them, it's going to be a fucking nightmare, right? You just know that. So, and this is one of those situations where you just know it's going to be a fucking nightmare. Ain't no doubt about it.
See, I had the opposite experience last week when I bought something.
Yeah, tell us more.
So
Because I'm going to pull the pictures up of that shit because I'm excited about that.
So I teased it, but I didn't really want to say too much because, I've had situations where I went to buy something and then it wasn't there anymore because somebody actually called and told the guy how much it was worth.
I fucking hate that guy.
So I found this thing on somewhere.
Right.
And I called the guy and he was like, yeah, meet me there, whatever. We worked out a deal and I said, listen, I'm going to send you $200 Venmo to hold this. Like, I'm serious. Like, because I'm starting to get a lot of calls. I'm like, I want it. Like, here's $200. And he's like, okay, I'll do. And he pulled the ad down. He was cool. So I went out and I got it. And it's a 1985 SP 250 with the disc brake in the front. Yeah. One owner. It was his dad's, titled. And I mean, it has a scratch. And that's pretty much it.
And that's all you can report.
And then the best part
a scratch
is that when I got there, he goes, how far away are you? And I'm like, about 3 minutes. He goes, okay, I'm 4. I came from Sandusky. I was out there today. So when we got there, I went over and I touched the bike and it was cold as fuck.
Right.
It has a decompression switch or a thing.
Yeah, decompression lever.
I was like, do you need to use that? He's like, I've never touched that. And he kicked it once and it started and was just sitting there idling. And I'm like, okay, this is all right.
Good to know.
Yeah. So I took it home. I took it all apart and even the inside's clean. Like there's no rust anywhere on the inside of it. Anything, all the plastic's good. Like it's, it has a couple little, it's 35 years old. So it's got a scratch here or two, but I mean, nothing too much more than that. And the only thing that concerned me, I took it for a ride. And the tires they're much knobbier than like should be on the bike. And they're so old and hard that I actually thought that the wheel bearings were fucked because like when I'd start to slow down, it would almost be like cogging. It would be like ka-conk, ka-conk, ka-conk. So I put it up on a dirt bike stand and no, you hit the wheels and they'll spin for 35 minutes. It's just the rock hard tires on the bike. So
they've turned to wood a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull it up, but right now I'm having a little problem with Facebook. But so now, didn't you have one of those, Nick? Didn't you have an SP?
My first motorcycle ever was a 1982 Suzuki SP250.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's one of those. It's one of those bikes.
That bike that I sold at Mid Ohio, one that I rode to Mid Ohio.
I was going to say
was a 87 SP200.
Right.
But so that was my maybe third or fourth motorcycle. But yeah, my first one was what you had. Mine had drum brakes on the front. It didn't have the disc.
That's it right there.
It didn't have the gold wheels either. It had.
I didn't know that. I always thought it was just a Honda gig with the gold wheels. No.
Everyone took a shot at it.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is the suspension on this bike called? Because I think that's going to be the bike's name.
Oh yeah.
It is the best name in motorcycle history for a suspension.
Mono?
What?
No. Full floater.
Come on, man.
Full floater, dude. Motherfucking full floater. It's a full floater.
I didn't know if you were talking about what kind is it or what. No, okay.
Do you know why it's called a full floater?
Let me know.
Because it has a rocking thing at the top,
it's got basically it's got the swing arm, right? And it's got a linkage going up to the top of the shock, so it compresses the shock absorber from both sides. So the shock absorber is fully floating.
Right. It's not fixed in any position to the frame.
Well, mine's fully squeaking right now.
So you might have that.
Spray it down with WD-40.
There's a picture of the shock system.
There you go. Yep.
So as you can see, there's a cradle holding the bottom of the shock. And there is a cradle at the top for the shock that's hooked up to this, what looks like literally a pushrod assembly. Mm-hmm. So there's like a rocker box looking thing. That looks like a valve actuator on the top. And you can see this one's got the hose for the remote reservoir. And then there's the arms that operate the bottom of it.
It's a spring compressor.
It's fucking, it is. It's a valve spring compressor. It's exactly what it looks like. But it's super fucking cool.
But I do have a question.
Yeah.
And maybe one of you
Not
guys
light, though. Not light. Yeah, go ahead.
The bike's light. It's like 230 pounds.
Oh, I just meant the full floating system. The full floating system wasn't light.
But so as old bikes did have, it has Schrader valves on the forks.
Yes, it does.
And right now the suspension's really soft.
Yep.
Do you put air in it? Can I put 10 psi in there or something?
You put set your regulator on your air compressor, turn it all the way down to 0.
Well, I have an actual like Fox.
syringe?
I have a Fox.
Yeah, so
thing.
5 pounds.
Yeah,
5 pounds?
PSI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would be maximum probably.
Yeah, we could look it up or check your owner's manual.
Well, it didn't really say that. And so like there was all these varying opinions that said like when you get into it, some guys are like, no, put 0 and change your fork oil. Don't put any oil or get air in it. Other guys say, no, it will never operate right unless you put a few PSI of air into the front shock.
I kind of agree with that because I've had several of these bikes and it's always 8 PSI or lower.
Okay.
And they're
It's not much.
right. And I have
You'll notice it right. I mean, like
Yeah.
you start pumping on it, and the bike will boom.
Phil, go
Yeah.
up to the top to that ad.
Yep. Right there.
No, the one next to it actually.
The red and blue.
No, that one on the far left.
Okay. This one?
Yeah, with the orange and red stripes on it.
Okay. That one, that's yours.
Yeah, that looked just
Yeah,
like mine.
that's exactly like the
Whereas
one you
yours has the blue decals.
The blue seat.
Right? Yeah.
The blue
Mine
seat.
had the orange and red decals.
So
No, I think that's the difference between the F. So the F has
Well, see, mine has that's the drum as well.
right. So the F has the disc brake and the gold rims.
right.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
But the whole reason I bought this bike is it was cheap. I was almost broke and I had to borrow $250 from our house fund, so I have to pay my wife back in the next week or she's going to stab me. But I bought it for a Mid-Ohio bike because it's like a giant couch.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and it goes slow and I mean it's nice. But here's an interesting thing. So the seat, the bag behind the seat, everything is in great shape. But you know, it's been ridden, so it had a little dirt on it. I took a magic eraser and I gently rubbed the seat.
Yeah.
And it looks fucking new.
Those magic erasers are insanely good at everything.
They're magic.
Yeah, they are magic.
But like,
They work
I'm
great.
sure if you go too hard, like the SP on the side, you'd fuck up. But I went really gently, and it's like bright white. Like it looks like it came
Yeah.
out of the showroom, man.
Yeah.
I was pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, I've actually taken scratches off face shields with those magic erasers.
Really? It's that much. That
Very
light of
mild abrasive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and they're funny because you're like, okay, this is just foam.
Right.
This is just a particular kind of foam. And yeah, I mean they're crazy. If you ever have to do the windshield of your car or something like that, the shit is the only thing that works if you have a car that was previously owned by a smoker.
Right. Yeah, I get it.
It's straight up like that and vinegar, and that's your home free.
So,
But yeah,
one of the other things I didn't notice until I got home, and I was eyeballing and all excited. I got a bike, whatever, going through it, and it still has the toolkit. It still, I mean, everything on it, man. It's
Yep.
pretty cool.
here's an interesting thing. So the both Suzuki fork types I have spec 0 psi, the 79 RM 400 and the 85 SP 250.
I read the same thing.
Yep. Well, I have 82 SP 250 forks too, but they're the same fork, so I guess they're bleeders to make sure that there's no air pressure in them, I guess. So that's interesting. I think that's pretty fucking cool. But anyway.
So what would you have to do? Compress the forks all the way down and then let the Schrader valves open?
I don't know.
Wouldn't they let air suck in the Schrader
That's
valve?
my point. I think that you would have to do it at no load, but again, that's why I would always want to check the manual, because on my Honda CB750 and my Honda CB900,
No, in the springtime,
to be pumped up.
over the winter they contract and the air goes in.
Air goes in.
Right.
Yep.
Every spring you're supposed to let all the winter air out.
And put in your summer air.
Well, no, really, just to let bleed out. It's like your gas can expanding and contracting.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty funny. This guy was like, okay, this dude's like, okay, I put air in one leg and put nitrogen in the other leg. And after a 20-minute moto, there was 4.2 psi more pressure in the air leg with compressed air, use scuba, and then 1.9 psi more in the scuba leg than the nitrogen filled leg. Okay, so that's when we're talking about the difference between air and nitrogen. So that's kind of interesting. I think that's kind of funny. But anyway,
So the spec is 0 psi.
if it says
I'm
that in
gonna
the
check.
manual,
I found the manual.
there you go.
I'm
Go check
downloading
it out
right now.
yeah. So that's kind of fucking cool.
If you go to my website, www.moto-obscura.com, you can go to the downloads tab and actually download the Suzuki SP250 manual,
Get the fuck out of here.
by the way.
Really?
And this is I have this website and
I'm on it right
I just
now.
remembered
It's called
it.
Moto Obscura.
Yes, go
there
to
it is.
downloads.
So we have downloads and links. I got
Yeah.
Fiat. We got Honda.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
We got Suzuki.
Yep.
Right, there it is.
There's DR125. Where's SP250? Down a little bit more.
Yep. There
you
it is, right in
go.
the middle.
Yep.
There's your manual. Check that out. That
There
was
you
on
go.
Nick's website.
You're welcome.
Well done, Nick.
Fucking
You're
Nick.
Wait,
fucking
Nick,
welcome.
is that a picture of you in 80s garb?
It is not
on the cover?
Okay,
No,
'cause
I
it
stole
looks-
that from somewhere.
It looks
that.
quite
That
a bit
is-
like Nick, though, if you ask
Well,
me.
That is very, very handy.
And see, there's Bandit stuff. There's DR200 stuff. There's,
Dude, that is fucking great.
basically it's anything I've ever owned.
And you
I have
scanned
manuals
every
for it.
manual
Yeah.
for every bike you've ever owned and put it on.
Yep.
That is fantastic. That's great, man. That's super cool. I'm so neat. it's so cool that you did
there
that
you
as a
go.
reference.
I just remembered that. And
You literally remembered that
Yeah.
you had his owner's manual on your website.
Yep.
Perfect.
Here's the thing, though.
It's a 4-valve head.
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
And it has the two different exhaust pipes.
It does.
and the-
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the thing about these bikes is that the exhaust pipes are impossible to get, so
Are
you
they?
have to have a decent one to have
right.
get it going. 2, side panels and gas tanks are impossible. You're easily, as you guys said in the last motor stories, easier to find a motor, wheels, any other part of the bike except for the side panels and tank.
Well, here's the thing. This motor is still in production as the GU250 motor. It's fuel injected.
Yep.
Right. Oh,
that's true.
In the new motor, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the GZ250 and the GU250 are like this bike. Are they? Is it the same with the TU?
Yes,
I
it
think
is.
it is.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it was the GN, the GZ, and the
GN,
TU.
GZ, TU.
Yes.
So I wonder, would the headers fit then?
I would imagine.
It would seem like they would.
I've never tried it, but
I wonder why they wouldn't cross-reference.
It's amazing that a bike from from the 80s like this is still out in current production.
And in the DR200 SE, which is used in a lot of the motorcycle courses and stuff. Yep. That's the
Do you know
same
what I
engine.
find very interesting about that is that Suzuki took a motorcycle that was from the 80s and to modernize it, they made it more fuel efficient and they put on fuel injection, right? Which is something that they haven't been able to do with the DRZ 400. And it's the same fucking company. And why they would have done it with the SP250 motor to modernize it.
Or the DR650
Or the DR650 motor.
The reason, though, I think is because the groups that buying that bike right now don't want it. Because they want to be in South Zimbabwe and be able to get a carb rebuild kit compared to having a problem with fuel injection.
Yeah. It is just, that is a crazy thing. But yeah, so the service manual is all right here. Man, that's fantastic. And it's a really good scan too, Nick. It looks great.
I didn't scan it. I stole it from somewhere else.
Yeah,
but,
You taxed it.
And I got a PDF editor and I deleted all the watermarks.
I was going to say, it looks really clean, man. Good job.
I noticed there's a Manscaped commercial on there too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got a Manscaped
on
commercial.
On his webpage.
There you go. On his website.
Manscaped.
Just to keep them fresh, you know. Now that they're legitimately straight up sponsoring us, that's pretty rad. So that's cool, man. I really like that.
And after you,
Hofford will be glad to know that.
after you posted
give it
about
a
the
3.
SP250, I actually. Here's the thing with my SP250, when I first bought it, it didn't have a title, and I tracked down the original owner because the title was still in his name, and he gave me the title for it, and that was cool. And he let me know if I ever was about to sell it, let him know, and he'd be willing to buy it. And so 2 years later or so, I sold it back to the original owner.
Wow.
Who bought it new in 1982, and I really haven't stayed in contact with this guy, but after you posted those photos, I sent him an email. I was like, hey, this is kind of silly, but if you ever decide that one day that you want to sell that bike,
sell it back to me.
Sell it back to me. Yeah, it was my it was my first motorcycle.
That's fantastic.
And he said, yeah, I'm having way too much fun with it right now, but if I ever decide to get rid of some of my stuff, you'll be the first person to know. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very fucking cool. Now,
the Brotherhood of the Traveling SPs.
Yeah. Bagel had something similar happen with, he had bought or he had acquired a Vespa that had been abandoned in his place for way too long. And the woman who was partner to the original owner of it, I guess, had managed to put a thing out on the internet web saying, if anyone's seen my bike, let me know. Yeah. And Bagel was like, that bike's in my garage right now. So unfortunately, he moved all the way from the San Francisco area all the way to Oregon, and she's still in the Bay Area. But he's doing it. He's selling the bike back to her so she can get her original bike back. So that's badass.
That's pretty cool.
Dude, I think that's the coolest thing in the world.
Hey, have you heard, has Bagel made any progress with his electric bunny rabbit or whatever the hell he was making?
I have no idea if he's made any progress with the is that a Fuji Rabbit with electric motor? Was that the plan?
I think, what's the big German scooter?
That's a Heinkel.
Heinkel. That's what he's doing.
The Heinkel 103A2 Tourist, which is, I have one of those in my garage right now.
Call Bagel. Call Bagel.
We fucking love Tom, and we will call him whenever we want, but we'll also...
Give him warning.
Yeah, we'll give him some warning. Yeah. He's a friend, and we don't want to abuse our friendship that way. Right. That's it. Tom's a ace dude. And speaking of which... They are full on for Mid-Ohio.
Oh, good.
Full on for Mid-Ohio. And did anybody see the email today from Mid-Ohio? They're completely stealing our moves because what did we talk about last week in our podcast? The shit you should bring for Mid-Ohio.
Yep.
And what did AMA Vintage Days, what did their fucking say today in the thing? The shit you should bring to Mid-Ohio.
Yeah.
It's like they're listening to us, but I don't think that one dropped yet. So I think
No.
They might be listening to us in the future.
I actually just made a $280 donation to Mid-Ohio.
Camper spot? Yep.
Yep.
It's in it to win it.
Yep.
Yep. Then you have to throw some of that manscaping money your way, and thank you. We'll make it all fair for you. Speaking of which, support for Cleveland Moto is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming, champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right. The 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. With this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code ClevelandMoto. It's all one word, Cleveland Moto. I will have to tell you that. I'll have to tell my accountant that. I have to tell everybody who calls here that. So is it www.clevelandmoto.com? I'm like, ma'am, how do you spell? No, it's clevelandmoto.com.
My lawnmower 4.0 saved my life this week.
Tell us more.
I got surrounded by a gang of unruly gentlemen, and they said that they would kill anybody that was not or over 18. And I said, I might have a beard, but I am very much only 14 years old. And they said, drop your pants. And I did. And they said, you may go, sir. You are as clean as the freshest child there is.
They said never underappreciate the beauty of a freshly shorn scrotum.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is it. And it.
I think they just saw your tiny weenus.
Hey, but you know what? Because of Manscaped, you can see his tiny weenus. So there you go. Manscaped.com. That's right. Get in there and use the promo code ClevelandMoto and get 20% off. Straight up a tool that is a beauty, a bonny, a joy to behold. It legit does what it says it does. Well, very few things.
And it's waterproof, so I was able to
waterproof as a son
make an announcement in my household of 3 other women.
Yeah.
Well, not other women. 3 women that you're
I
just wanted to remind them that it is waterproof and it can be washed. So, although I know you would never use it, when you do, please wash it off
when you do,
thoroughly.
right? Because let's just be honest with you, they're gonna use your shit.
And I was at Target shopping for some home products.
Yeah.
And they have it there, and there's almost none in stock. So they're popular.
Oh, so people are buying that shit.
And they're buying them for full price.
Yeah.
You know, so just saying. You can save a few clams.
You can save some clams and get it delivered straight to you.
That's a different product. That'll be the next rebrand.
Oh, wait, sorry. Am I hearing a Clamscaped 4.0?
When it becomes the Ladyscaper.
Clamscaped is totally just writing itself right now, man. Yeah. All I'm hearing is Clamscaped. That's it. Yeah, perfect. But I will say that I gotta admit, I'm also taking advantage of the waterproof feature because the plumbing at the Waters estate isn't, you'd think the last name of Waters, my plumbing would just be perfect on the money. Right. It's part of the family. Nope, it's a curse. 3-4 inches of water in the bottom of the tub as I'm showering up.
Did you shave your drain?
No, I didn't shave my drain, but I have a very extensive hair trapping system.
Okay.
That works on 3 levels. Steve would be impressed. But here's the crazy thing. I dropped it. And I was like, that's not wet. That's submersed. Mm-hmm. Like, that is 100%. It's a fucking submarine now.
But it has a light, so you could probably find it.
Well, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, but that thing is magic. So I am going to tell you, that thing is legit magic. Digging every fucking part of it, it's great. So if you are into it, just fucking do it. It is the thing. Maybe somebody will respect you more. And maybe that formerly uncharted territory will be charted in the future. Mm-hmm. Maybe you could get your wife to do a little Lewis and Clark exploration if she doesn't have to fucking cut her way through the brush.
Right.
Like she's some fucking,
No machetes involved.
Exactly. My God, man.
Or vice versa.
Or vice, is John saying, yes. Clamscape 1.0. That is it.
So lame jokes aside, Smith, I think it's time. I think it's time for the...
Yeah, because he's got to go. He's got his heart out, man.
Go soon.
Yeah,
we need the Smith joke.
Yeah.
So I was in bed with a blind woman, and she reaches down and touches me and says, "That's the biggest penis I've ever felt." And I said, "Well, you're pulling my leg."
That's good.
Honest. No, I have to say, dues are paid. He has permission to leave.
Yeah.
If he wants to leave, he can leave.
3
Mrs.
stars.
Smith. Yeah, that is the best joke I've heard tonight. 3 stars. absolutely fucking fantastic. Yeah,
Chris
that's
Smith
brilliant.
out.
Chris did a great
Chris
job.
Smith, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen. Chris Smith.
Chris Smith, ladies and gentlemen. That is it.
Try the veal. I'm here all week.
Chris, notably the only one who rode to the podcast.
He did right, and he wrote his anus.
Nick, can you help him get out the door?
He's going to need a little help getting out the door because the handlebars on that Janus are wide. Yeah,
Well, they didn't used to be.
Did you see what you can do with the Manscaper?
Oh, you can get some 6-pack abs. or
Dude, check that
8-pack.
dude out. He got 8-pack. Yeah, I'm thinking that's the look for Mid Ohio.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. Yeah, just rock that shit, just the way it's meant to be, right there. So, coming on, as we are to all the different events that are happening right now,
Right.
and getting into the fact that we have to get used to the fact that we are doing events again. A couple of things. Let's just be aware that there are still people that are masked up and like to be masked up, or maybe they can't get a vaccine or something like that. So just a little tip from your Unkie Phil. Keep carrying your mask with you.
Yep.
Just have one with you, because you will go into places like this shop where, the door's locked. We have appointments, and we welcome people in with appointments. We give them amazing service because of the appointment. We have one-on-one spiritual interactions with people now that aren't divided by some knucklehead coming in and going, one video calls them window lickers and tire kickers.
Yeah.
And I have been like, what's happened, the way our business has changed, the way we're giving people better customer service, all of that, it's totally there. But just for the next 6 months, make me a promise. Just carry a fucking mask.
Yeah, it just helps.
Keep one on you.
It doesn't matter what you think. Like we're all vaccinated. Great.
Right, yeah.
But there's grandmas. There's people out there that maybe just can't deal with it.
And if you go into somewhere and you're not sure, when in doubt, whip it out.
Yep.
Just put the goddamn thing on and walk into the place, if that's the case. Because what we've seen here in the past week, this is the fastest week in the history of America, because we've gone from like apparently everywhere in the world is still masked and everything else. I've had people come up to the front of my shop. I'm like, well, we're going to let you in the shop. That's great. You got an appointment, but we are asking you to wear a mask, right? Mask. Mm-hmm. Well, this is over. That's over now. We don't have to wear masks anymore. And I'm like, well, you do here.
Yeah.
And we told you that, and it's on the website, but maybe just have it with you.
Yep.
But it is funny. It's like, I still keep one with me everywhere I go. I got one in my pocket right now. Mm-hmm. If I got to bust it out, I'll bust it out. But it's like, if you're going somewhere and somebody says, hey man, we're going to go down to the hot tub. We'll meet you down in the hot tub. When you go downstairs to get in the hot tub, are you wearing your drawers or are you naked? You're wearing your drawers. Why? Because you don't know what kind of party it is yet. Now, if it's a good party, you can take your drawers off and nobody will be mad at you. But if you drop your towel and you're naked and you're the only one who's naked,
Or you hear,
yeah, then what did you do? You done fucked up.
Yeah.
It's the same with the mask.
Yeah.
Having no mask and going in somewhere is like going into an unknown hot tub situation, just fucking commando.
For a second, I thought you guys were still talking about Manscaped.
No.
Yeah.
But on top of that, you know what's kind of funny with like people losing the masks now?
Yeah.
I forgot how bad Ohioans' teeth are.
I had a guy this morning at Lowe's. He breathed on me from 2 registers away. How the fuck do you breathe on somebody from 2 registers away? But it hit me. And I knew it was only one thing.
Oh, yeah.
That was stank mouth.
Oh, dude.
Remember we were kids? It was like, they call me yuck mouth because
Yeah.
I don't brush.
Yep.
I like my teeth like this. That little back to school
Oh, yeah.
Schoolhouse Rock thing.
Yuck mouth, yeah.
Yuck mouth, man. That dude hit me from, and the thing was, I was like, oh, what the fuck is that smell?
Well,
And
because of the pandemic, there's a backlog of teeth cleaning. I mean, for a long time, dental
didn't-
offices were closed, and
Yeah.
even I need to go in and make an appointment to get mine. I'm almost a year and a half, 2 years out.
Can't your
But
wife
there's-
just do that at home while you're
Well, that's
sleeping?
what I told her. She's busting my balls about making an appointment. I'm like, go get your fucking tools.
Go get your gear. Right.
Dude, Harbor Freight
I don't
sells
have the
picks.
right light, and I
Oh,
don't
my
have
my wife doesn't go to the auto shop for anything. My wife doesn't be like, okay, well, Phil, I got to take the car in. No, she's like, it didn't start this morning.
Also, Harbor
Well,
Freight
my wife's
sells
the same
picks.
way too, but apparently it's not reciprocal.
Oh, see?
Somebody's salty.
Honestly, we gotta sort that out for John. Everyone shows up with their mouth open. Everyone shows up. Hey,
Well,
Peggy.
she was on board with like if times get hard, we
Right.
can have like a, like they used to have the salon in the basement. We'll have a teeth clean. We'll have our own little dental office.
my mom
down in
had
the
a beauty
basement.
salon in the basement my whole life.
Well, my mom was a hairstylist. Like she worked at a hair salon.
Yeah.
So up until like a couple months ago, I have never paid for a haircut.
Right.
But now I have.
Yeah, my whole
You
neighborhood.
need to get your money
Came
back.
into our
You'll
basement.
be the hygienist, and I'll just lie and say I'm a dentist.
Perfect.
Yank teeth out,
Hey, man.
especially the gold fillings.
I'm not a gynecologist, but I'll give it a look. That's it. For sure. The Manscaped 4.0.
You know, I
The
used
right
to,
tools for the job.
when I was like 17, me and my buddies would be like, "Oh man, I want to be a gynecologist."
No,
and then somebody's like, "Dude, you do realize
no,
that 90% of the time
No.
they're sick."
They're broken. Yeah, they're broken. The perfect ones never show up there. No. That's like being a dentist. Yeah, the perfect rack of teeth never shows up. No, the perfect rack of teeth is always somewhere else. The perfect rack of teeth is exactly not at the dentist. But when somebody else opens their fucking screw top head and you look in there and be like, what the Jesus Christ? Yeah, it looks like a fucking garbage pail, kids.
Speaking of the perfect rack, my wife just got a renovation.
Oh yeah.
She's convalescing.
She's convalescing?
Reduction.
Oh, she did? Yeah, good for her. Yeah. Good for her. I'm
She
sure she's
said-
going to be a lot more comfortable now.
She said the first time she stood up, she almost fell backwards.
She overcompensated, nearly launched herself.
She's like, whoa.
My God. I'm just going to get 30% of my nutsack removed. Yeah,
Well,
I think that's about right,
It's only fair
at this
'cause
age.
John had what 3/4 of his wiener removed a while ago, so it's all working out.
I think it's all still there. You just can't.
You just can't get to it. I had a buddy tell me one time if a guy loses 25 pounds, it's like getting an extra inch of dick.
Oh, I can tell you, when I raced bikes,
Yeah.
I was 178 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm 235-ish, right?
Yeah.
And it's not good. I need it back. It's just-
McMurray's a piece of shit.
yeah, he's a piece of shit.
I'm
I'll tell you that.
5.1 inches, 100% average.
I'm a solid 6 inches. now.
6 inches. Yeah. So I did see that they're talking about doing. You said a Shorzy.
Yeah.
So a Shorzy
Show.
Letterkenny.
Spinoff, yeah.
A spinoff of Letterkenny.
Yes.
Just Shorzy.
Just Shorzy.
Because I mean, honestly, Shorzy is one of the highlights.
He is.
But it's always dangerous when they do a spinoff.
What about Schmelzy?
Oh, yeah.
Shorzy, Schmelzy, tuck your sack. You titty
Oh,
fucker.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be included. I mean, it's all Wayne anyway.
It's all
so,
it's all the same actor. But I get into that, like that whole jam.
I hope that they don't just rely on the comebacks and wittiness. I hope they kind of like really get into his backstory. Like, why is Shorzy that way?
Mm-hmm.
That could be interesting. If they actually like exercise that could be interesting to see the backstory or see him fucking with somebody's mom or something. You know what I mean? It can't just be him quipping all the time and just throwing fucking hockey quips out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it can.
Yeah, it actually can. You know, the whole thing about Shorzy though is it's always the visual of what's happening when he's not there, right? Because the whole thing about Shorzy is last night I was doing your mom or whatever, right?
Right.
That's all the image you're painting in your head is the
Right.
Shorzy story. So sometimes it's like I will say this, okay, I'm going to date myself here, but Laverne and Shirley was an amazing spin-off of Happy Days,
Yeah.
right?
Pretty much.
Do you remember the Lenny and Squiggy show?
No. Did they do it?
Yeah, a little bit.
You didn't want to
that when
see.
they-
Well,
You didn't want to see those
okay,
guys.
but where
for the
does
time.
Sha Na Na come in then?
Well, but Scott Baio then he had his thing too. But Charles
Because
and
weren't
Charlie.
Lenny and Squiggy on Sha Na Na?
I don't think so.
Maybe I'm
No, I don't
no,
think so.
Shauna Na was on,
That's
on
Bowser.
Laverne and
They had their
Shirley.
own
though.
show.
Yeah.
They brought them in a few times.
Yeah.
so-
Okay.
Yeah, it's like musical guest kind of thing.
Okay, so just some crossover here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're right. That was all part of that universe.
So
though,
there
at the
is
time.
that kind of weird thing. It's like seeing what Lenny and Squiggy were up all the time. Seeing them in close relief wasn't great.
No.
So I wonder if Shorzy. And the other thing too is you can't ever show his face.
Right?
No,
Yeah,
'cause
that's the
it's just
thing.
Wayne.
So he's going to end up being like the neighbor on the fucking Home Alone or the
Home- yeah.
Home Improvement. Anyway,
How's it
so-
going, Tim?
Yeah. Yeah, that whole jam. Anywho, but that's a digress
I'm just
away from
waxing
another.
my African drums before I go to,
Yeah,
whatever.
that was the man's experience.
Well, so I guess that's probably it. Then there's not. Are we going to talk about motorcycles?
We should talk about motorcycles.
We were talking about motorcycles.
We should talk about
John,
motorcycles.
You know what? I'd like to talk about a motorcycle.
Would you like to talk
A
about
motorcycle?
Go ahead. Let's
Well,
talk, John.
It's not my motorcycle. It's a close friend of mine. Let me ride his motorcycle
Oh,
last
yeah,
weekend.
Sunday. Yeah, after the ECU tune and header.
Yeah, which it was doing a little pop, and we figured that out.
figured that out.
There's a fix for that, but I got to ride Steve's Z900 a little bit.
Oh.
And actually, it was actually after, well, we'll just say some drinks.
Yeah, a couple pops.
Okay. All right.
We left the compound, and Hofford came with us, and he was riding his electric bike. And then it became a little showdown between Zero and Zed.
Yep.
It was kind of fun.
That's
Yeah.
kind of scary.
And I got on it when we were first riding, and I
Okay, so thinking about that, that's kind of interesting because the Zero's got about 80 foot-pounds of torque. Mm-hmm. Doesn't weigh very much. The Z900 RS has got about 80 foot-pounds of torque.
around there, but I think
Yeah.
with the ECU Flash, it might be pushing a little
But
bit
a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Weighs more.
Well, it's 425 pounds.
Yeah. Zero's 295.
Okay, so 100 pounds.
Right. Okay. Well, how'd it go there, Skippy?
Well, I started off, Steve was egging me on.
Okay.
I'm riding somebody else's bike.
Exactly.
After
But
some
it wasn't, we were in straight areas.
after some barley pops, so I'm not really trying to, yeah. But then somebody started encouraging me. Then so then it was, I would take it up to, he'd blow me away off the line because
Right.
I really wasn't going, I
You're
wasn't
not
dumping
trying
it.
to kill anybody, right? Yeah.
So he was blowing me away off the line, but I'd bang second, and by about third, if I wanted to hang on to it, I would have whizzed by him.
Okay, yeah.
And this guy's back there is like, third, up in the air, go by him. Like, get there, do it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing a third gear wheelie past Steve.
Okay.
Until I did. Well, no, I got him, like the one, I got a little better, and I got a little braver, and, as we launched, every stoplight to stoplight.
Right.
Then finally, then I also was like, all right, well, I was also being lazy. I wasn't watching the light much.
Yeah.
I caught him a little bit off guard, and I was just, whoa, 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 but I kept him off my back. He never got past me.
No.
Okay.
But
All right.
it is the smoothest motorcycle I've ever ridden. Like
I do have to agree with that. With the hydraulic clutch
Yeah.
and the shifting is there's no clunk, there's no anything. It just shifts. And I know I hit neutral a couple times because it shifts so effortlessly.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, if I just wiggle my big toe, it'll shift gears.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And it didn't, but you have to give it a little bit more than that, But it almost would, 9 times out of 10, it was just like,
Okay.
And then, so he put that Del Quebec pipe on
Yeah.
there, and it sounds fantastic.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean,
it's a
it's
stock
everything.
can, so the stock can.
yeah, stock can's still there, but the header's
But
changed.
I have to tell you a sleepy thing. So I sat there on Saturday. I got up early. I took it. I was by myself, and so I took the other thing. The catalytic converter has to be 35 pounds. It's a fucking.
Oh, they're monstrous.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Fuck yeah. On every motorcycle. It's way too
unbelievable.
heavy. Yeah.
So anyway, so I put the pipe on. I align everything. I do all this stuff. I make sure everything's perfect, and I'm really spending time on this. Right?
Fighting with 4 separate pipes all
Yeah,
trying to-
because it's so I'm like
Oh, wait. So it's not, it doesn't come in as a one piece?
No.
Oh, no, it's four
It's
fucking
four,
individual pipes?
So like I'm holding it upside down, laying underneath the bike. I greased in the brass bushings so they didn't fall out because I figured, okay, grease will burn off. Who cares? Whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I put it all together, get it all together. And then I actually used my head, took window cleaner, wiped all the pipes fucking 2,000 times to get every bit of finger oil off of everything and everything I could do. And it's perfect. And I started up and I'm like, I got a boner. It sounds amazing. It's like, right? And it's sitting there and it just running for about 2-3 minutes and it burns off the grease.
Yeah, you got to burn off the grease.
Right?
And,
So then that stops smoking and everything's cool. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And the wind goes, whew, and then my one Harbor Freight not cotton fucking microfiber towel
No!
and
It falls
just-
into the hot header?
it flew across the driveway and slammed into the right side of the hot header. And it just goes, and I'm like, ah! So I grab it, and it's just all black and gross. And I'm like,
it's
motherfucker.
terrible. Yeah.
And so I walked away because I was about to bash things with baseball bats.
Yeah.
And so I walked away and let it cool down. And then I bent a razor blade
Uh-huh.
around the pipe.
Okay.
And I took it and I went, and it came right
And it
off.
came
And
right off.
everything's all nice and cool.
Nice. Good
But I was just
man.
like, Jesus Christ. Like I I did the right thing. Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't stupid about it. I didn't rush anything. I did all the things.
I gotta say, I have never seen a 4-into-1 header that you had to self-assemble, but I guess in retrospect, you kind of have to, because you can't just, it's not like an old Kirker 4-into-1 where you have all the room in the world. It's okay if the thing hangs 7 inches down away from stock.
Right.
But on this bike, you do kind of have to assemble each of the headers into the collector.
Well, do you know when I found this out, though? Is when I came home and the box was this big.
Way smaller than it should have been.
I was like, oh.
Right.
Well, I ordered a header box, and you get a shoe box.
That 4-into-2 exhaust that I had on the Bandit was the same way. It was all individual pipes.
All little tiny pipes.
With springs.
So here's my question to you. Because that is spring tension loaded onto the collector. So there's 4 individual headers that go onto the 4-into-1 collector. And then there's 4 springs that hold each one of those header pipes into the collector.
Well, it's 4 into 2. So like, you know, like there's like 1 on the back and then that one holds the 2. So it's pulling into the same point. And they're tight. I had to put all my weight and somebody else and a foot on it to get those springs on the fucking thing.
You know, there are spring pulling tools.
Oh, they send it with you.
Oh, they did. Okay, that's a good question.
Yeah, they did that.
Yeah.
But so here's the other thing. So I got the ECU flashed for that header and for the thing, which they don't tell you. You do have to cap off this pairs thing, which feeds fresh air to the exhaust, and it's underneath the gas tank. It's on the right side of the
that looks like the kit you got right there, right?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, that's the kit.
So, but me at the time I didn't know it, so we were getting D-cell pops, no big deal. But now I know
like on command, and when you like. And that bike with that exhaust on it, it made every person I went by, I had to blip the throttle. It was just like, whoa, boom, whoa, pop, boom, just like a nice pop, a good pop.
So I love that.
But I'm thinking D-cell
child.
pop. D-cell pops. What's the problem?
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not a problem. But I mean, whatever. But anyways. So I got the ECU flashed, and the guy does all this stuff and like lowers the fan rate, takes off the speed governor, and all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
But what I didn't know, because I just wanted the things to tune for the pipe, right?
Right.
But it changes your traction control 1 and 2. So traction control 1 now will let you wheelie more.
Okay.
Okay. But I didn't know this.
Okay.
So when I was going home.
What about traction control 2?
That's for like rain. And,
okay, so that's rain mode.
Yeah, but it's still
so you basically have 2 channels of traction control
and then off.
Yeah,
and off is just full balls.
What's traction control?
Yeah, well, that's what we're finding out.
Oh, on this bike you need it. I'm like, traction control is at less lethal, right?
Yeah.
I'm not riding this without.
It'll stop you from murdering yourself, but it'll let the front wheel come up now.
That's what
I didn't know this.
Right.
So when I got pissed at this guy doing 25 and a 50, I blasted past him and I downshifted the second and nailed it. Yeah. And all of a sudden I saw trees and air, and I probably scared the living fuck out of this.
Do you think it was like a 2-foot wheeler or a 10-inch wheeler? I mean, you've ridden enough wheelies.
I know, but I wasn't expecting it. So it was probably a 1.5 to 2, but it felt like 12 o'clock. Like it was just not expecting it, you know, like it was interesting.
Because that's the thing is like with some of the bikes, you know, Zero SRF is a good example. Sure, it will let you have a wheelie. It just lets you have a little bit of a wheelie, you know, enough wheelie to say you had a wheelie, you know, but it's not going to throw you up. It's not going to toss you.
No.
Yeah, that's the deal. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool.
But you know what else is weird? So like all these years, you know, like I tried to live the adventure bike dream as many people do. And like we live in Ohio. So the dream is like, we're going to slab 3.5 hours to get to a riverbed and play adventure bike for 5 minutes. And I'm not saying that like Mike and those other dudes, they go way down to South Ohio and they get it. Like
there's plenty of amazing roads in Ohio, but they didn't put them around Cleveland.
Right. So you got to be dedicated. Like you have to have a day to go down just to get to where you're going to do all that stuff.
That's true.
But the whole time of those bikes, they're wonderful bikes. If you're on the highway, you're doing some stuff, you're cruising at 35, 40, doing whatever. Yeah. But when you get to the twisties, I was like, man, I really suck at riding now. Like this sucks. Like what happened to me? I used to be halfway okay at riding, you know? And this bike changed that whole thing. Like by the time you think about a turn, you're through it. Yeah. Like it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, man. I definitely like the handling on it. And it's nice and straight. It's just like, and you just like, it was like riding the CB1 a little bit bigger, but really nice.
I can't get over, I mean, the bike is just beautiful.
You got to ride it now, dude.
yeah.
It's a way different thing.
I'm excited to ride it
yeah.
now. Yeah.
Did
very
you do
excited
the
to ride it.
pairs thing, or are you still working on
I'm going to
that?
do it this weekend. I've had no time. That's why the podcast from last week's dropping tomorrow because
Okay.
I've literally had no time this week.
Right.
I barely got, in fact, I was up till 1 a.m. last night doing Moto stories, and I finally got, that was the first time I missed Wednesday. It was still Wednesday, but,
Yeah, it's the one to drop.
but it was late. But it's getting harder now because we're in golf season. So, like, I'm.
Oh, golf season.
Anyway, thank you for letting me thrash
Oh, no,
your
no
bike
problem.
a little bit.
I
I
wanted
feel
to-
bad if the change stretched a little.
Well, it needs to happen.
So when you got on after him, did the suspension readjust for a one-person seating?
No, but you know what's funny? But you know what's funny? I was like, the bike looks a little bit lower than I remember it from the back. It was,
Oh, because you finally got to see it from the outside.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
What did you think about the Versys?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot, man. In fact, I'm kind of bummed. So like now, because I have a bike to ride that I can go on long distances, whatever, I'm going to take apart the FJ now and align it. Like it needs, I'm going to clean it. I'm going to do lube everything. I already got new chain and sprockets, but I'm going to realign everything. Because John's bike was so much fucking smoother than my FJ. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
The Versys is a nice bike, and it's no
Versys is-
slouch either.
No.
Like when you guys were taking off, I
Oh,
kept
you
up
were, I
with it.
kept
Yeah.
seeing you. I'm like, oh, he's.
I couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would, I was leading actually, which is pretty rare for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, you
Right,
did.
yeah.
You took us on nice roads too.
Yeah, we would, but I did keep you in mind. I was like,
oh,
well,
thank
you
you.
can't
I
expect this. Like,
appreciate it.
well, you look at a straightaway that you can see 3
Well,
miles.
that's what
down
you were
the-
like. Do you want to go
Right.
back again? I'm like, well, not right now.
There's,
Not right now.
there's a nice stretch out on Parsons Road where it's just country 2-lane road
Yeah.
where you could.
Yeah, you could definitely speed. But I did on the way
I
home
hit
though.
60 miles an hour. I'll let you guys know. I did. So almost highway speeds.
And this is on the
So-
Super Hawk?
Yes, this is
Yeah.
on the Super Hawk, which currently has a rev limit of about 6,000 RPM.
Oh, really?
because
How'd you do that?
Well, it's misfiring above that.
So at some
still
point
working
it's
that out, but
So
over sparking.
I did test the speed limiter reduction on the way home real quick, and allegedly, I don't know what the speedometer error is, but it was at 156 when I got too scared to shut it down.
Okay. Yeah.
So it moves.
Yeah, that seems pretty legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. I mean,
What
that's
was the original governor set for?
140.
140. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I'm looking at that bike, and again, I think you probably got the best color. I'm gonna say that the KZ that I had was the orange and chocolate variety, and I think that if I were to pull that particular trick, I would have to pull it in this color.
Did you see the green though?
I did.
The
black and green.
Yeah,
Yeah, the black
that
and
one's
green.
pretty.
well, there's
That's pretty
that one green that's very similar to the Honda Candy Bacchus green.
Yeah, that's
green,
it. That's what I'm saying.
very
Yeah,
dark.
That's the one.
yeah.
Forest green. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of. It's just part of my history that to me KZ's in that. And you know what? It's the color that, if I remember correctly, my uncle was like, "Yeah, I don't know these brown and orange ones. They just don't sell." And I was like, in retrospect, that was such an identifying color for those bikes.
Right.
So yeah, that's a pretty interesting.
Isn't it root beer? Like
Root beer.
orange and root
Yeah, it's
beer,
root
right?
beer. Orange and root beer. Yeah. And I think that's a funny thing, but that's the one that I've always identified with. That's the one I've always kind of been like, yeah, that's kind of the color I would have to have.
It's the first bike in a long time. Like, well, I guess I do like a lot of bikes, but yeah, I'm very happy with it. It's
I'm
a
glad.
good bike.
I'm super happy you're having such a good time with it because it's a fucking cool bike, man.
It is a beautiful bike.
Yeah,
It makes me want to
very
lose
cool
weight so I look better on it.
bike. Well, ain't that something? Holy shit! My God, I've never had a bike I'd lose weight for. Not one ever.
My wife's like, "What? Like, you do
I gotta
it for
say,
your motorcycle?
I
and
got
not
like if
me?"
somebody the other day was like, "Oh, we're gonna get a thing back going at Nelson's Ledges. We're gonna start doing track days. If you want to come out with the old guys, we'll all go out and we'll start doing track days again." I was like, "Well, that means I either got to buy new leathers or fit into my old leathers." And I can tell you which one of those two is probably going to happen. Does anybody need a set of my older, smaller leathers?
Right.
Because
Well, all you need is an expansion panel, just in one area,
I
right?
have to zip in a maternity panel. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm a freak. I just carry, my weight is 100% love handles.
Oh, yeah.
So like anytime I have a pizza, it just goes one place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's
Well, this
guaranteed.
doesn't help. I'm sure.
Well, again,
there you go.
Nobody here is living the lifestyle of somebody who's like shocked that they can't take off weight.
Well, Nick,
Well,
He's
okay,
not-
but he's got the
I've
metabolism.
warned him though. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're looking at your future if you continue down this path.
People have told me, Cam,
Yeah,
as soon as I hit 30, It's game over.
Who? Wait. What?
Mine didn't. Yeah. Who?
I was a fat, pudgy little kid from day one.
Oh yeah.
Dan's like, I drink more beer and whiskey than all you, and I'm slim. So fuck you
Yeah,
guys.
that's true.
Yeah, but I don't eat.
He doesn't eat. That's exactly it. All right. Yeah, that's it.
Liquid
There you go.
diet.
So I
Liquid
sure
diet.
as hell don't exercise.
Yeah, fair enough.
Last weekend when we went on that ride, I took the Super Hawk on the on the course on the compound.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On the dirt.
I saw your picture. I was
Yeah.
kind of amazed by
Yeah,
that.
I mean, here's the thing. I betcha in 1972 there were a lot of people using Super Hawks as dirt bikes.
Oh my God, really?
Well, if you compare the Super Hawk to the CL77,
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot of difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same motor. It's almost the same frame, or maybe a little bit better. I doubt the suspension is really even that much different.
It sounded great. It didn't go very great, but
So yeah. So anyway,
See, I knew you'd find that.
yeah. So look up at the screen right now. That's a 1972 Honda CB350 with a period correct racing sidecar off of a much different bike.
I can't believe you found
It's a
it.
motocross sidecar. So I've talked to this guy 2 times before. He's had this bike. He's kind of thrown this bike up a couple of different times to try and get feelers. And you know, the gas tanks, you know, it's like a weird Arthur Fonzarelli style cafe,
It's the
job or
perfect
something,
Mid-Ohio
scrambler style.
bad decision.
But it is the perfect Mid-Ohio bike. I'm not joking at all. That thing is like,
If you buy that, we will
Yeah.
do roving moto stories on it.
it's just, so I have an appointment to go look at it tomorrow.
Solid.
So we're going to go see it. Yeah,
That would
we're
look
gonna go
good
see
with a Beechcraft nose cone on it.
it. It would look. Oh, yeah.
I literally sent a text at 3:57 today
Yeah.
that said, "Who has a bunch of extra loot for this Mid-Ohio bad decision?"
Where did you put that?
On our group
On our
chat.
group? Yeah, on our group chat. Yeah. Because I talked to the guy today about it, and I was like, look, I know you put this up 2 or 3 times before, and I know you're just kind of feel it out. But if I show up, it's going to be with a trailer.
Yeah.
You know, if I show up, it's going to be with a trailer, and I'm not going to give you money for garbage.
Right.
And he's like, dude, this thing was running. He's like, this bike was running 2 years ago. And what does it say? Read it right there. Ran when parked.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
literally says ran when parked on it. I'm going to wear the shirt.
But I want to
I'm
know.
gonna wear the shirt that says ran when parked on
Here's
it.
the thing. It's a CB350.
Yep.
It needs a battery.
Yes, it does. And other things.
But here's
Yeah.
the thing. This
Yeah.
guy seems cool because if you look, he has a rally car underneath a fucking
No,
blanket.
that's a Volkswagen convertible.
But he's look at the.
That is a
cabrio.
fucking. That is not a rally car. That
What's
is a
the thing
fucking
sticking out?
cabrio.
It's not like a
No.
wide body or something.
No, it's a cabrio with fruitcake wheels on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does this thing have a title, the original toolkit, and
Does
the keys?
exactly. Thank you.
It's got the original exhaust in the sidecar.
It does have the original exhaust in the sidecar, and it doesn't have the original headers because the original headers have been cut violently
Right.
Oh, yeah.
and made into the world's worst across the side 2 into 2.
Did the CB350 have that frame member in the front of the engine, or was it just the CL350? Or
No, that's CB.
Okay.
Yeah, that's legit.
But it has the
that's
green
normal.
number plates, which that alone
Oh
is
my
fucking
god!
worth so
Well,
much. man.
and you know, there's just so many. There's so many things on this bike that are weird and wrong, but I'm okay with them.
Yeah.
I'm all right with many of them.
if that goes to
Yeah.
Mid-Ohio with you on it and
Yeah.
other people in the areas,
Yeah.
you will be the poster child for Mid-Ohio for years to come.
Well, and I also think that this is a perfect bike. If I go there and it is anything like what the man suggests that it is, it's a 1972 Honda CB350 with a vintage motocross sidecar on it that looks like it's the heaviest thing on planet Earth. Like there is no way that fucking sidecar rig doesn't have 1 but 2 shock absorbers.
Right.
That's 100% too many, you know? And there's just like there's 100 things
Yet
on
it
that.
still seems like it's sitting on the floor.
It does. There's
you know
things that
what?
aren't right here.
You know what's good about that?
Yeah.
That means that if you put 400 beers in a giant cooler, there has
Yeah.
enough suspension to maintain it.
I agree with John though. I think that I don't see enough of that tire. I think that right now this sidecar looks like there's a 400 pound man sitting in it. So what's going to happen when you put a 400-pound man in it? It already looks too low. So what's going on wrong with that geometry? So that tire is kissing the inside of that fender right now. That fender is rubbing on that tire, and that means that whole suspension system is wrong. So anyway, the shocks that are on the sidecar rig are literally CB350 shocks, and they look like they're about 3 inches shorter than they need to be. Which okay, we can fix that.
Yeah, that's easy.
It's not a big deal. So I can fix all that shit.
Oh, I'm excited.
But it just gives me a good jumping off point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then John and I can have our fantasy that we always talked about, just putting a rail there, just putting a couple of wing nuts up through the floor and some posts and put a fucking rail on there, and let's go hunt for some bikes.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Because we can come back with a non-runner.
Oh, yeah.
And a guy sitting on the non-runner drinking a beer looking all cool. You ride with your buddy like you're Ponch and John.
Yeah.
And only one of you is riding. Yeah, I think that's cool. I like that. I like everything about that.
So since we're talking about buying bikes at the swap shop in Ohio, let me throw out a shout out. You guys, you and John killed the last Moto story. So if you have not been to a swap shop, these guys
Swap meet, swap shop. Swap shop sounds like
Chop
Swap
shop.
meet, swap shop. I don't know. I've always called them swap
it's
shops.
a swap
whatever.
meet. No, it's
Okay,
shop
swap
is
meet.
shop infers there's a roof.
Okay, did you watch the video?
I did. Anyways, you guys.
Look here, you pheasant.
You guys dropped
Tuck your nuts,
a
you
whole
tit
lot
fucker.
of. You guys dropped a whole lot of fucking underground fucking info to help people get some shit.
I mean, Mid-Ohio is an adventure. I mean, it really is an adventure. And there is not one thing about it that is for the person who doesn't love motorcycles. Like,
Right.
if you just hate fucking motorcycles, you are not going to survive this place. You're going to have a shitty fucking time. You're not going to have any fun whatsoever. It's going to suck.
I had fun sitting.
Well, wait a second.
Yeah.
If you like to drink like silliness,
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, you can always have fun drinking
Yeah, that's true.
a lot.
But there's motorcycles and dust and
But
mud
if you can't,
and
so
men.
a couple years ago, you guys, we were all supposed to meet somewhere. You guys, I missed you guys, and
Right.
you guys were doing your thing.
Yeah.
So I went back to the Taj Mahal, whatever the fuck you rented, and I sat on the deck, right?
The camper. You sat on my back patio.
I sat on the back patio.
Yeah, right.
And you guys were gone for about an hour and a half, and I
Yeah.
just sat there, and it was just a parade, a cavalcade of awesome bikes driving by. If you can't
Good
miss
people
your,
watching.
if you can't miss your
definitely.
friends and just enjoy bikes driving by, man, it's the best. I
So
can't wait.
I'm going to read this news alert because it's fucking cool. Cal Rayborn's Harley Davidson XRTT 750 Road Racer will be at Vintage Motorcycle Days for your looking at pleasure.
Wow.
And I'm sure you see right here in the front part of the image, right here, down where my cursor is, that's going to be where everybody's going to be. There's going to be the drool line. There's going to be the drool line. They're going to have plexiglass put around this thing like a salad bar. And that's it. And all these guys are going to walk away with tight trousers because this thing is crazy. As part of this year's On Any Sunday theme at AMA Vintage Motorcycle Days at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Close on July 23rd through 25th, they're going to showcase the Harley-Davidson XRTT 750 Cafe Racer, which is just fucking badass.
Yeah.
That the late Cal Rayborn won a handful of transatlantic match race events back in 72, which is, and we've seen this bike in the AMA Motorcycle Hall
Look
of
at
Fame
that
Museum.
front drum brake. It's the size of a fucking wheel.
Gigantic. It's probably stolen off of a Suzuki Water Buffalo.
I think
Okay?
it's stolen off of an aircraft.
I think you're right. It's stolen off of a B-17 bomber. But anyway, so this is what's fucking cool is Rayborn shocked the world in Great Britain by winning 3 of 6 match races on this bike, this particular XRTT. That's badass. And of course, if you saw On Any Sunday, if you haven't watched it yet, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I haven't watched it yet.
It's on.
What the fuck is wrong with
It's
you?
on Netflix. It's free. Whatever. I mean, come on. It's an amazing,
And then there's
amazing movie.
there's like variations later. They did what, like there's like a second one.
Yeah,
and,
there's a
all
second
this-
one. Yeah. And then, but this is what's kind of badass is they're going to have Malcolm Smith's Husqvarna, right? That was in the movie. Mert Lawwell's KER 750 Dirt Tracker. Not too bad there. Fucking cool, man. I mean, that's badass. So here it goes. I'm going to read you the not Cleveland Moto tips for AMA Vintage Motorcycles Days. These are the tips approved by the American Motorcycle Association for your
First
protection.
one is the one that you guys first said, and
Number one, always bring cash.
Yep.
I love that they just hit you right between the fucking eyes. God damn it. If you show up to this thing thinking your ass is going to be saved by your Visa Gold Card, we're all equal here. You know how we're going to judge you? by the lump in your fucking pants.
Right.
Yep, that is it. If you don't have a lump in your pocket,
Front or back.
exactly. Yeah, eventually, you will want to buy something. And swap meet vendors, I love this. Swap meet vendors may not have credit card swipers. You know what? Even if they did, there's no fucking signal in half this place.
No, but here's something that they forgot. So if you promised your wife you're taking a bike to sell at this thing,
Yeah.
you're still bringing one home.
Yo, yeah.
You're not bringing cash home.
You ain't coming home with pocket of cash. No. You're coming home with 3 smaller motorcycles.
Right.
Yeah, you show up in one big motorcycle.
Sell it.
You think you have a problem, you now have 3 smaller problems.
Right.
You better talk to your friends ahead of time and find out which garage you can store the shit in.
There's like 3 whole bikes I could buy for $200 a pop that I should like just go grab and take down there.
Take them.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, no, get them running and sell them and take the money down there.
That's
then
right.
I'm like, no, just get them running and keep the money in my bank and go down there and get drunk.
Just
and
get
call it a
drunk and
fucking
walk
day.
around bikes all day. Second thing, wear comfortable shoes. We said it, and Oscar said it best. Wear shit you don't plan on bringing home.
Well, and also bring boots. Always bring boots.
Yeah, for real. Not only just because mud, but you might want to ride something around. And if you ride something around and you're not real good at riding something around, this is a good place to find a wait a minute hole. Mm-hmm. You know, this is a good place to find a gopher hole or a Sydney-shaped trench.
A pair of motocross boots will set you straight for the whole...
Absolutely.
As you knew, you walked around in a broken ankle all weekend.
I had a fucking broken ankle. I had a broken ankle all weekend. And
strapped into a moto boot.
God for my moto boot. Thanks. Because, you know, I got my trials boots, which the trials boots are a little bit flexible. Like they're flexible. You can walk around in a trials boot, but a proper moto boot, you cannot walk around.
Well, it was 147 degrees.
Yeah, it was pretty hot.
And everybody was like even fat guys had no shirts on, and you had these giant boots. And I was like, dude, are you gonna wear those boots all the time? And you're like, I can't take it off.
No.
My foot will fall off.
Yeah, there was no way. I had a freshly broken ankle. There is no way in the world I was taking that fucking boot off.
Right.
Because I tried walking around with just my shoes on. And within an hour, my ankle was done.
Yep.
So I was like, fuck that. So I put my trials boots on because they had a little bit of flexibility to them. And it was like, I can walk around now.
Yeah.
And it was great. And I looked like a twat because I'm wearing fucking cutoff BDU trousers and these fucking trials boots from like the early 80s.
Right.
You know, some Italian trials boots. But anyway, wear comfortable shoes. No shit. And I love this the way it says, haggle at the swap meet. Preferably not with your spouse. Nuff said. So, I was actually waiting for the modern millennial compliant haggle to discuss the price or negotiate the price. Like people need to know what fucking haggle is.
Right.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we did say you can't just price shit. You got to play the game. Just got to play the game. That's all there is to it. You can't. It's not the kind of environment where you can not.
Unless
play the
you're
game.
blowing something out and you say, listen, if you got a $2,000 bike and you're selling it for $1,400 and you're like $1,400 firm blowout now.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody might do that.
You know, I think that's what we're going to do because my idea is to overwhelm it with volume this year because I've got 2 years worth of shit in the warehouse.
Right.
So we're going to do multiple trailers and I think we're going to come down and I think we are going to interview people and be like.
Oh, we said last time, which will drop soon.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if you spend 20 minutes, your price just went up.
You got it. The longer you're here, the higher your price goes. Yep. Yeah. We could actually do the thing like where we write the real price on a piece of paper and hide it and then just be like, yeah, that's $500. But if you'd have shut up 10 minutes ago, it would have been $250.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And then,
You have to have the
make them
sign.
mad and they'll leave. Yeah. Because that'll also achieve the goal of shortening the conversation.
I'll print and I'll paint a sign, a 2x4 sign.
Yeah.
That says every 15 minutes that you talk to us, the price goes up $100.
I think it's better if you don't let them know.
Oh, okay.
I think it's better if you don't put a sign up. I think it's better if you just like, again, it could just be, do you want to buy that or stand around trying to look sexy?
Right.
If you stop talking right now, it's $400.
Now,
Exactly.
also at Mid-Ohio, considering that there are limited resources, if you are somebody that's going to come up and buy a bike from any of us, if you want to, introduce yourself by handing us a bottle of something or cold beers and a cold thing, that could influence the price of a motorcycle, definitely.
Oh, honestly, that's like, I will say again, no, I didn't say it the first time.
Oh, you better. Dan,
explain that bottle because I want to have a drink of that bottle. Because I don't even know what the fuck clear whiskey is.
Clear whiskey.
Okay,
so
I'm going to go get a glass.
Been
It's
on
almost like we have
It
to
is
wait
from
for...
Why don't you go ahead?
W.R.
Yeah.
Welter. Not Weller, but Welter.
Why don't you crack that open and give us your initial thoughts of what's...
It's got a wax seal.
Read the label to the whistle.
Yeah, but we need Dan because Dan's the professional here.
Yeah.
Handmade organic WR whiskey, distilled and bottled by Journeyman Distillery, Three Oaks, Michigan.
WR, like WR250? Yamaha?
WR Welter.
Isn't that the paper company that you see with the yellow trucks with the fucker on the side that's like, I'll sell you anything? Isn't that like WR? They're all over.
WB Mason.
WB Mason. Okay, WB Mason. I knew it was a W in there.
Okay, so this glass has already got a crack in it. So as it gets warmer, it's going to crack more, I think.
Nice.
All right, so Dan ripped the thing
Dan's
off.
gonna
Here we go.
Now, this has got a wax, the heaviest wax seal I've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh, he
with
broke it.
A fucking, God damn it. What
It's
the hell?
stuck to him.
Okay, this is sinew.
It's attacking Dan.
So this is actually cat gut sinew in there.
Ew.
All right. No,
Nice.
Okay, it has a smell. Not a good smell.
What does it smell like?
Cleaning product. It smells like the hand sanitizer we have in the front of the shop.
That's what I was afraid of.
I was afraid too. I can't.
All right, so I'm going to let this age for a while.
Okay.
Now, this does say, this bottle is dedicated to the original journeymen, the ones who transformed the spirit of adventure. These men took risks and dreamt big.
Wow.
They were entrepreneurs in every sense of the word. With our W.R. Welter whiskey, we salute all the journeymen that came before us.
Important question. Was it on
in this bottle? This is batch number 56, bottle number 122.
Wait.
Yep.
Take a risk,
said-
take a sip.
They came in that bottle?
It did. It does. They came in a bottle before you. So it says original art, etc., distilled and bottled by Journeyman Distillery, Three Oaks, Michigan. Okay, so far we're all good there.
But was it on a boat?
I can't read the super tiny fine print that might say that it came from somewhere else.
Yeah, Nick has fresh eyes.
But so
Journeyman Distillery, the stylized feather design, packaging, trade dress, WR and stylized WWW emblem are trademark of. This is bullshit.
That's all bullshit.
So,
okay.
yeah.
All right. So anywho, so the reason I bring this up, well, maybe I'll bring it up later, but the reason I'm putting this down right now is our friend from Western Michigan showed up today on a goddamn 1983 Honda 750 Shadow. Now, you do know that a few weeks ago when we talked about good bikes, bad bikes, worse bikes, whatever, we shat all over the 1983 750 Shadows pretty heavily for ushering in that era of motorcycles that wish they could be Harleys, right? And wish they could be Sportsters. But this guy shows up, and no shit, he's riding thousands of miles on a 1983. It's before the tariffs set in, so the bike actually has an honest 750 cc's. It's shaft drive. It's double disc brakes up front. It's got a round headlight.
I mean, we can do an about face and talk about all the good things about it because it did have lots of good things.
Yeah, well,
it's mostly the electrical system has been the bane of my existence with those bikes.
Yeah,
I don't particularly care at all for the styling, but there are people who certainly love that bike for what it is.
And,
and if you have one that's in good running shape and everything, yeah, I believe you could put thousands and thousands and thousands of miles on it.
Yep. And he's doing it. He's rocking that thing around. And he's a podcast listener, so we wanted to make sure he came in and dropped this bottle of hooch off. Now, again, we don't know. I don't know. You don't know. I certainly don't know anything about this particular whiskey. But I do know it's clear. And that's a weird thing for us because we are not clear whiskey people, right?
Look how dark my arms are compared to my legs.
I see that.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's awful.
The nose is not exactly... Like I don't know if I'd want to smell this a lot.
Well, but hold on. I just drank some of it, and I got to say, it's not, the taste isn't bad. So, all right. There's definitely a fruit sensation.
So you're saying this is the first batch after making hand sanitizer?
It's kind of ginny. Here, just take a sip. Just take a little.
No, thank you. I don't drink whiskey.
No,
it's clear. It's not brown whiskey.
It's
not brown liquor. It's not brown liquor. Right. Yeah.
Just a sip. I mean, you don't have to.
How is that different from moonshine?
Well, that's what you're about to find out because it is totally different than moonshine. It is absolutely not moonshine. Right? It is absolutely not moonshine. So there's it up. We pulled it up. It's a 1983 VT 750 Shadow. Almost. And that's what he showed up on today. Like that.
Wait, did he have the white walls?
No. You got to have Dunlop GT qualifiers.
That's what I'm saying. Like not white walls, but the white
raised white letters.
That's got a lot of moonshine flavor to
It
it.
does a little bit.
With the whiskey.
It's very rubbing alcohol.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm going to say is, would I drink it? Yep. Would I put it in something else? Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But, Dan, what do you think about it?
It's a really pretty good, clean whiskey. No oak flavor.
No oak flavor at all.
Holy shit! Well, there
There's
you go.
no barrel.
Yeah.
I don't taste any part of the barrel.
This was aged in a stainless steel cask.
I don't think it's been aged at all.
Nowhere on the advertising, nowhere in the bottle does it mention barrel aged anywhere?
No.
Yeah, so it's
That was
avoided.
aged in the train car tanker
Dan,
on the
what
way
is
to the
90
distillery.
proof.
I was about to
90
say,
proof,
what's the
yeah.
proof? Yeah.
90 proof,
So
yeah.
that's just right after the heads. They just like they poured out the heads, and this is what we get.
Well, it's
Yeah, not exactly, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's real. It's pretty clean.
yeah. It's not. Look, I don't hate
It's
the taste
good
of
for
it.
moonshine.
Yeah, I don't hate the taste of it, and at 45% alcohol, it's fair, you know. But it is strange only in that it is clear, which, again, yeah, I guess it would be if you think about removing the steps in the process that are my favorite steps in the process. So it does become Zima.
I wonder if this is John's real drinking whiskey. Is this something that he just wanted us to try out?
I don't know.
mean,
I think it's because it comes from Michigan,
Yeah.
and he comes from Michigan, so I think that's it.
wonder
And
if
I'm
he
not
really-
shitting on it because it is totally fucking drinkable.
No, it is all right.
Yeah.
It almost has a ginny type flavor to it. Like
it's
there's
different. I'll definitely.
Yeah,
It's yes. I said moonshine.
Yeah.
But it's not moonshine. It's not gin. It's
it's like
I will
I,
tell
I
you-
would almost say it's not whiskey. It's
I'm gonna give
something-
you a really good piece
it's
of
its
advice.
Own little thing.
it has no smoke. There's no like.
Don't burp.
Okay.
Oh.
Don't burp. Just gonna give you that one. I just burped and don't burp. Yeah. I'll try to
What's-
avoid that.
How could you not burp after eating all that pizza?
Just I'm gonna eat some more pizza too when we're done. So
It kind of has a cat food, like a wet cat food smell.
That might be my farts. I just ripped a couple.
Nick, I'm so glad you're an engineer and not in marketing.
fucking dude. Nick's next job is the sommelier for Fancy Feast.
Oh.
That's the human who tastes the food.
It has a bit of a salmon front
Yes.
with a tuna back end.
a slight hint of litter box. Yeah. Yeah. There we go.
It's a little gritty. No,
Tastes like
but
one of those chocolate logs out of the litter box. Litter box. So
I,
anyway,
That's yesterday's news.
dude showed up. Yeah, dude showed up on the fucking 750 Shadow, and rocking it hard and legit. The only thing that was different is instead of having this bike had 2 into 2, one on the left, one on the right. He had somehow 2 pipes on the right hand side, which is that part of that press the button and it converts it into a Harley thing.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so he had a set of aftermarket exhaustuses so that they both exited on the right-hand side, a la the picture you see right here.
yeah.
Dudes who are into
Yeah.
these, but there's a whole forum and group of people that love these fucking bikes.
Okay,
man.
and I'm going to tell you, if you said, I need to have a motorcycle that will not break,
Yeah, it's right there.
it's right there, provided you always keep the battery charged,
Right.
never make the electrical system work too hard, keep the lighting to a minimum, don't put any heated grips or anything on it,
Right.
and have Rick's Motorsport Electronics on speed dial to keep it electronically happy every 20 years.
But looking at this thing, right?
Yeah.
So like you look at like if you're not an adventure nerd where like you're like, oh fuck yeah, I want to be
Yeah.
Charlie, Ewan and
Yeah.
Charlie, whatever.
Right.
Like the GS12, the 1100 and 1200 is no more ugly than this is. It's
Yeah.
a purpose-built motorcycle. It's made to do something. you
Yeah,
know?
unfortunately, what it's made to do was copy all the wrong parts of Harley Davidson. So
Yeah, but it runs well and it drives
Yeah,
and
it
does
does.
its thing, and
Yep.
you know.
Exactly. What angle would you say, mathematical angle, do you think that gas tank is approaching?
Oh,
35.
Right, because so 90 straight up and down.
45
Right.
is like
Zero's
above the
there.
tank.
I
Comet
think-
shooting
that's
through the air.
35.
Yeah.
Comet shooting through the
Yeah,
air.
45. Yeah, 45 degrees.
Yeah.
So that's maximum.
Well, it's
maximum range.
It's the illusion of going
Yeah.
fast while you're not.
It's also the illusion of look at my enormous penis. Yeah, because look, it goes straight from where your taint would be all the way up to where your hands are. So when you're riding this bike, it looks like you're jerking off a big giant hog.
Right.
And hog is the operative term there. Yeah. Anywho, that's it.
So but the thing is, for what it is, but it's built with all the amazing
It
qualities
is
of a Honda.
That's it.
But-
look, man, it is that thing. It chaps my ass so hard because it is the sum of its parts create this horrible looking motorcycle. This thing that is neither Honda nor Harley.
To you.
To me.
I have a
But the parts are amazing.
And to me, really.
Right.
Honestly, I don't never.
Yeah, I say.
All right. So I have a serious thing that I think all of our listeners need to jump on, and we need to take care of this if you're
Okay.
a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
So, like, I was just talking about how I got my ECU Flash, and it got me almost 20 plus horsepower on the bike, and I did all this stuff, right? Well, the EPA has had this whole thing, and they're moving it through, especially in California, but it's hitting everywhere else eventually, okay? And nobody really knew the rules. Nobody knows what's going on. It's just kind of there. And there's a dude who's building a company on YouTube, and he has it's an insanely fast front wheel drive Honda with like straight up like giant drag slicks on it and stuff. So he makes an ECU piggyback that does something to the ECU for these Hondas, et cetera, et cetera. And he was selling the ECUs, not installing, or I'm sorry, selling the piggyback units.
Selling an electrical component.
Electric, like just like a power commander, just like an ECU flash or anything. He was selling this product that did something to your ECU to alleviate something and make it run better, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So in November of last year, he got a letter from the EPA and said, we need to know how many you've sold, what exactly it does, and how much you're charging for each one. And so he went back and forth, and he said the dude was like, really busy, whatever, but he complied with everything they asked him to do. And they came back and said he sold 36 of these units, and they wanted $4,800 fine per unit because of it. And then he negotiated with them and got it down to a total fee of $18,000 that he had to pay for selling these things, these modifications. And they basically let him know that they're going to go after every single person that modifies and tries to take out any of the EPA requirements on ECUs and motorcycles, cars, etc. from now on.
Well, what about the old caveat that it was for off-road use only?
It said that
It's
on
for
his
track
website.
use.
It said that, no, that's the thing. They're going after racers. They don't care. They don't care about race cars anymore. So there's a thing called the what is it? It's the RPM Act. So if you go and look up the hashtag RPM Act, there's a whole movement of bracers and people off-road riders and other tuners and other things like that you can sign this petition and say you're going to kill racing, you're going to kill performance, et cetera, et cetera. And the amount of people that actually take the time to do this and stuff is so minimal compared to other stuff that you're killing a whole industry basically at this point. But I mean, look at that bike. It changed my whole bike. And honestly, I'm not going to lie, I smell less gas. I think my bike runs better, and it's probably more environmentally friendly than it was before all this
Well, wasn't
bullshit.
that the thing we found out with the power commanders on the scooters, that yes, it enriched it a little bit in certain areas, but it actually made it 13% more fuel efficient.
That's what that was the amazing thing, that when we did a number of different bikes with those power commanders, the bike first ran way better on 87, 89 octane gas, way cleaner.
Well, that's because they can tune it for the gas.
Exactly.
Right.
And this is not a bolt-on. Fuck that. It's not a bolt-on. It's a plug-in.
Right.
And it's a plug-in device that any consumer can install. The bike ran super clean. Spark plugs looked great. It got a remarkable increase in miles per gallon, like enough that the fuel savings alone should say, let's do this.
And I think the main thing with that was it cut all fuel on diesel.
It did.
Right.
So when you rolled off of it, it wasn't giving the motor any fuel.
it was-
so no popping, no anything like that, and saving all that diesel.
Yeah, it did. And that, I mean, when you think about what happened to Supertrap in California, it got to the point, as a dealer, where we had shops in California that used to have Supertrap systems hanging on the wall, Vance and Hines systems, Weisco systems hanging on the walls, and they went into these shops and just went, okay, yeah, you're going to get fined for every single one of those you've sold.
Right.
And California went in and investigated these shops and gave people monstrous fines. I mean, ridiculous fines at the shop level in California, but then also fined Supertrap like millions of dollars, which is an Ohio company, not even in California.
Right.
And so it got to the point where we had people in California calling us and saying, hey, man, can you got any of them exhausts?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And we were shipping exhausts all over. We were shipping exhausts to California because they couldn't order them in the state of California.
Right.
But look, man, Germany's been doing that with the TÜV system. England's been doing that with the safety inspection systems. They've been doing that in Europe for fucking ages. Guys have a stack of parts in their garage that they put on their bike every 2 years so they can go in and get inspected.
MOT.
And they come out, and TÜV's the same way. And they come out, and they put all their shit back on their bike, And now the bike's, a raging fucking maniac again. But for that one time every 2 years, they got to put all their crazy crap back on. And it does suck. There's no doubt about it.
Well, what I'm saying is there's an opportunity right now. If enough people raise their voices and yell about it, maybe, probably not because it's the government, who knows?
Yeah.
But if enough voices get raised right now, maybe at least it'll raise awareness to the fact that they might have to put it to a vote somewhere.
We can't even get them to take the ethanol out of the gas or put the ethanol through the ethanol-free gas through a different pump, or to be able to sell Rec 90 in our state, because the lobbyists for corn are so strong. The lobbyists for the fuel companies are so strong. It's something that very clearly damages our property. It's something that if we're running a carbureted bike, it's not a question. It's not do you think it does? I don't know. The scientific findings aren't in. It makes your bike run like shit and dump gas on the ground.
Right.
So the EPA's got to be real happy with my bike running like shit, running at 78% of my fucking gasoline going out the tailpipe.
Or when I had
the EPA doesn't want you to be riding a motorcycle at all.
Period, of course. But
the EPA wants you to be driving some hyper efficient Prius.
Sure.
That will burn the fuel that they give you, and you'll like it.
But there's so many problems with it. When I got the BV500 from you originally, like you got it from the guy, he didn't do anything. He must have rode like 20 miles a day or 10 miles a day, 15 miles an hour to work and back. So when I went on the highway, the fucker would shut off when I got off the highway because of the carb and the fucking check valve and all the other bullshit.
Absolutely.
I pulled that off and the bike ran like a fucking champ.
Dude, a canisterectomy is one of the best things you can do to a motorcycle. A modern motorcycle, you'll know if you got something that looks like a plastic beer can hiding under your motorcycle, get on a forum and let one of the fucking graybeards on the forum tell you the right way to do a canisterectomy.
Right.
Because that will help your motorcycle every goddamn time. Yep. And then, but don't, like, if you're a shop like mine, we don't do that.
Right.
That's an EPA violation.
Right. You can't.
I can't fucking do that here. I can't even tell you how to do it. We can't have a discussion about that. It can't be done. So, but I know there's YouTube channels for it.
Yeah, right.
I know there's all kinds of places to find out where it is. I know somebody fucking mysteriously, there's a cat burglar around here who went in and stole the fucking catalytic converter and evap canisters off my motorcycles.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know it. And I know they probably sold them for big money too.
Is that the guy you caught on Ring, right?
Yeah, you caught on Ring. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was right around the ring, all right. Chris Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Franklin.
No clue.
No clue. You know why? Dude calls today. Oh, I'm sorry. I called this dude today. There's this problem in America. We talked about the trucker problem with the clearinghouse thing and, NHTSA shit, and people can't get anything anywhere. It turns out there's like cows and pigs and shit are dying in trucks because they don't have truck drivers to take them to their destination. It turns out that food is spoiling rotten in trucks because they don't have truck drivers to take them to their destination. So, but we're also not getting bikes here at our shop. We're like 40 bikes back ordered. We got deposits from people, and I feel bad for the people putting down a $500 deposit.
I'm sure they're not happy that it's 90 degrees and they don't have a bike right now.
Yeah, and I feel bad for them and their $500 deposit, but I paid for that sumbitch in full.
Right.
So you might be on the line for $500, but Unkie Phil's on the line for way more.
Yeah.
And what's funny is some of these companies that have like 30 days of flooring and stuff, we're running well past the flooring and the bike isn't even here yet to sell the thing.
Are you able to charge them for anti-flooring?
Yeah, reverse flooring.
Yeah.
We're flooring it for them now.
Right.
So here's the crazy thing. So I got to call this guy because this guy gave us a $500 deposit on one of those Kimco AK550s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is a bad
motherfucker.
Bad motherfucking bike, right? So I got to call him today and be like, hey, look, we just got word from Kimco. The bikes got off the boat. They're sitting in a dock somewhere, but we need truckers to go get those containers to bring them out to the people and to the dealerships. But there's a sign down the street, truckers, $2,500 a week, $150,000 a year. If you have a CDL, that doesn't have a blemish, like you got a felony on your report card, or, you got a DUI, or maybe you had a little too much of the fucking, Burmesian marching powder or something. I don't know. But anyway, here's the deal. I call him up to tell him the item of his affection that he put down a deposit on April 4th. April 4th.
3 months.
2 months.
3.
April to May, May to June. 2 months.
We're halfway. Okay.
8 weeks.
Yeah, right.
So 9 weeks ago, dude put down a $500 deposit. I called him up and I was like, dude, man, I feel real bad for you. But look, you can punt out and take your $500 back. At this point, I'm going to let you have that option because you're super cool. Or you can just hang in the game and keep you right at the front of the pack. And when the first one comes in, it's yours. Okay. He's like, I got to tell you, after I talked to you about the bike and thing, I did some research and I found your podcast. Dun, dun, dun. Dude is a Patreon supporter now.
Oh, wow. Well done.
Giving us money every fucking month. Giving us money, buying us pizzas.
You know what? He knows that you're consistent, not lying, because you were talking about this shit
We
4
have
weeks
never
ago.
not stopped talking about it, right?
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, he's like, I wish there was a higher dollar level I could pledge, because he's like, you guys have been entertaining the shit out of me.
Oh, well done,
For the
kid.
past 2 months, he's been listening to our podcast. He's like,
Thank you.
It's a blast. He loves it. He just digs the shit out of it. I don't know why, but he does. So Chris Franklin, this is to you. Thank you very much. You made my day today when you called in. When I called you to tell you your shit wasn't going to be here, instead of breaking it off in my ass, instead of giving me a rough way to go, he was like, no, man, I listened to your podcast. I know what you're going through. You guys are, I can't wait until it's open so I can come and see you, visit you, and bring you liquor. Like, the dude had a great attitude. And then he did the one thing that I was so impressed by. He's like, dude, I got a bike to ride. He goes, if you have somebody giving you a hard time, giving you an ass ache, you can give them my bike. I'll wait.
What?
Yeah.
Jeez.
This is a gentleman.
Yeah, man.
This is a dude who understands. And I
But
told
now
him,
he's going to get the bike no matter what.
oh, and I
Yeah,
told
fuck
him, and
that.
I was like,
Yeah.
I explained to him, all of our shipping costs are going up. So I don't know if you noticed this, but like those little SSRs and stuff that we used to get in $60-$70 per bike to ship, they're like going up to 100, 120.
Dude.
Because everything in shipping is going up.
My ECU, right?
Yeah.
So I don't trust United States Postal Service because they lost $3,000 camera and they fucked me and I hate them, right?
I get that.
FedEx, an ECU, you know how big a fucking ECU is, right? To overnight an ECU,
The size of 2 packs of cigarettes.
$107.
I mean,
What the shit? $107?
Yes.
For something that fits in a bubble envelope?
Yes.
when the government prints money and dumps it into the economy,
Yeah, exactly.
you're going to start getting
People are going to take advantage of that.
hyperinflation.
Hyperinflation, exactly.
I don't really wanna
So
know.
what I thought was cool, so this guy, Chris, being Chris the mensch that he fucking obviously is, Chris the fucking legend as of today's conversation.
Yeah, right.
I explained to him, well, you know what? The cost of shipping has gone up greatly since you, but we're saying we have a contract with our customer. If you gave me a $500 deposit and I quoted you the shipping on your bike was $400 or whatever it was when we started it, and if the shipping on the bike is $550 right now, I'm going to eat that. Because when we signed our contract, that's what it was.
Right.
He's like, I'll split it with you. I'll meet you halfway.
Damn, this
You
guy's
shouldn't have
all
to.
right.
He's like, you shouldn't have to take it all on your end. It's my bike. And I was like, I thought he was a plant. I thought he was legit, like calling from one of our distributors or checking up like quality control survey kind of thing or whatever. But I want to tell you that for as many people as we have call here on a routine basis because they weren't ultimately satisfied, and I've had people tell me like when I discuss something with them, like, well, you know, we can't deliver your bike on Wednesday for you because we can't get away from the shop on Wednesday. But I do give my day off Monday, to deliver bikes from 6 a.m. until midnight. I can deliver the bike to you on Monday to your house in your driveway this Monday. And they go, well, that's completely unprofessional. And I'm like, what? Yeah, if you can't deliver it to me on Wednesday's the day I can take it. Are you fucking kidding? And then they're like, and they send me a text back. They're like, that's completely unprofessional. That I can't deliver their bike to them. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a full-time job. And one that goes about 11 hours a day, 12 hours a day in the summertime.
Right.
So you know what? Maybe you could fucking take a fucking Uber in here and ride it home. Fucking
I know we got things out there
Rockstar.
like Carvana and stuff like that, but your average car dealership is not expecting you to drive it to your house. Now, I'm sure if it would break the deal, they'd drive it to your house.
Dude, when I was buying my...
But on the general base, I've always driven the car from the dealership to my house.
And I've never expected otherwise.
When I had to buy a car, when
Yeah.
my fucking truck died and I was looking at these Hyundais, there was another one I actually wanted before this one. Yeah. And I was like, listen, I worked till 5. It was out in Akron. I'm like, I can get there at 6, I hope. He goes, well, the dealership closes at 6. And I was like, do you want to sell this car today? He goes, if you can get here by 6, I'll sell it to you.
Right.
I'm like, you can't wait it's a guaranteed sale.
Right.
Like, I've been at dealerships. You stick me in a room and we're there till 8:30 at night anyways.
Oh, trust me, you're going to waste my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Can you come tomorrow? And I hung up on the guy
you're
and
done.
fuck him, dude.
Yeah, I
They
can work
don't
with
care.
somebody else.
People don't care anymore, man.
Well, I was very impressed. So Chris Franklin, fuck
Yeah.
yeah, dude, you're a fucking legend. I'm very impressed by that.
You should give him a shop towel.
You know what? And you're right. We should throw some extra shit under the seat of his bike, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
You should give your nuts a tug.
Okay, James said we need to have something special at the thing for in the podcast.
Yeah.
For like true heroes, or he's like, or if you have people that some people are like, I wish I could give you more than $20 for the Patreon thing, and I was like, I don't want people giving us a lot of money. It's embarrassing, and and we don't have a high operating overhead, so it's not really a big deal. Look, we spent the money they gave us on mini bikes. That shows you we don't make strong financial decisions, right? We took the total accumulated, resources of 10 years of running a podcast.
We could probably start talking about what the next stupid thing will be.
Right.
Though.
Well, so James is like, we ought to do something like the $100 holler, where it's like, you give us $100 and we will read on air anything you want us to read on air to the camera. So then they'll be able to pull the image out of the video out of YouTube, and they'll also be able to snag the MP3 of us reading whatever. Because have you ever heard of that thing? What is it where you can pay a couple of bucks and get a celebrity to read your statement?
Cameo.
Yeah, Cameo.
I was on Cameo. You can get, apparently John Cleese needs money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, that's crazy.
There's a lot of wrestlers and B-level stand-up comics
Black and all kinds of stuff.
that would do anything for $200.
How about this?
Go ahead.
If you guys want to be heroes, right?
Yeah.
So me and Phil have decent mics. These mics are okay, right?
Yeah.
The Shure MV7. All right.
The Shure MV7.
It's a podcast mic. If you want to be the hero of our life, send us those. And we will sound better 100%.
The podcast will sound better.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's true.
Right.
Now, those are about $250.
Yep.
About, as we like to say in the shop, $250.
Yep. And I want to point out that the podcast already sounds 100% better than it did before.
Yes, it does.
But
I'm just
to
saying.
sound 100% better than it
Right.
currently does.
Yeah.
And I'm a little obsessive. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's my thing.
Right.
So, but yeah, that mic would change a lot of things.
And that is something too, that if we did up the boom, because I mean, like, if you try to make that mic sound really good, you got headphones on.
I can't make the sound.
Well,
right.
you got to be right up on it.
Yeah, but he's
Oh,
yeah. Now
does this sound really good?
yeah,
it actually does sound really good.
Shit. Well, I was instructed. I was set up for failure, guys.
Well, the rule of
It doesn't
thumb
matter.
is,
You're leaving us anyway, so fuck
Right.
off, dude.
What I've learned on this particular mic is that if I actually can feel the mic on my face, it's really sweet.
Does this sound really good?
It actually does sound really good. So that's it. So save the $250.
How about now?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess these guys just need to learn how to talk into microphones.
shit, could
and
be
that
that.
would definitely be that.
Well, we did have the one podcast listener who said, "Thank God you got headphones."
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Thank
that
God.
definitely changed everything.
Thank baby Jesus you got headphones, because that's a big deal. So yeah, I like that. So anyway, that's fun. I mean, the whole idea of it is just hilarious. So yeah, here's to that. So here's to our fucking awesome Patreons. Here's to Manscaped for well done, guys.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for not leaving us because everyone else did.
Well, and I have an idea too.
Yeah.
So if some of our listeners are going to Mid-Ohio,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
and you are a regular listener and you're listening to this, send us an email. And Phil, where would they send an email to?
To ClevelandMoto@gmail.com.
And tell us that you have a moto story, and let's set up an appointment, because I'm bringing
Absolutely.
equipment down.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have the gear.
Yep.
And we were talking about having the confessional couch, like just having like the nice comfortable spot at Mid-Ohio.
Tell me where he touched you.
We're gonna have a spot in our camp that is gonna look so desirable. It's gonna look so like I want to sit on
A chase lounge.
Like I want to sit on that. But when they sit on that, they're gonna be in the perfect spot for the camera and the mic.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, we're bringing
Yeah,
it.
that's it. We're gonna bring it.
it.
Yeah, let's set it up.
Yep.
And that will be the hot seat, but it'll also be the cool seat.
You'd be a hero.
Yeah, you'd be a hero instantly. Make you into a fucking celebrity.
Don't fade away. You got to burn out, man.
Burn out. Don't fade away. And I'm very excited about that. You did mention the Moto Stories thing. You're having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
You are having some fun with that. I can tell you might not be completely satisfied in your current job. No. Because I think you were joyfully pressing the eagle button
Oh yeah.
on one of my Moto Stories. I just get
every time you said Alaska.
Yeah.
Because here's the difference. If you noticed, it wasn't on every one.
No.
John would slip by and be like, yeah, we went to whatever. And then you'd be like, Alaska. And then it would be like,
it was so funny.
But the best, did you see the comment?
Yeah.
The one guy is
No,
like,
I didn't see the comment.
oh, dude, the one guy, we have a birder that's also a listener and a friend. Or
Wait a second. Is his name Steve Valsleck?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's a legit, but like he's a.
So he was
super
like, as
big-
much as I love you guys,
Yeah.
he said something like, he just laid like, he's like, it was inaccurate in some ways.
Do you think maybe Phil and Steve and Fernando and John got it wrong?
Yeah, right.
When it came to wildlife?
But he definitely liked our enthusiasm, which was great.
That's pretty funny.
But he said he wanted to bring one of his hawks, and he's going to show us what they can do.
There you
But
go.
right now, because what they do is he traps them, and then he releases them.
The
and so
fuck?
he said he's going to trap a new one and train it, and he'll bring it, and he's going to show us some fun.
No.
And he wants to bring it to the compound.
No, we're not worthy.
Yeah,
we can
it's
do
going to be
that.
fucking cool, man.
What
It's going to
the
be really
shit?
cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
are you not kidding?
No,
down.
this dude, he was legit. Like, he had all the
What
info,
the
man.
fuck, man?
I can catch fish, so we can feed it too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those fish were jumping out of the barrel last
Right,
week.
well, because
Yeah.
the hawk isn't good enough at catching fish. But
Oh my god, man! Yeah, no kidding. You're not kidding. I mean, dude, that's pretty badass. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that whole idea of just that the screaming eagle though, like that whole thing. It's one of those things that the first time you hear it, you're like, that's cool. And then the fifth time, you're like, that just is so not cool anymore. But then the 200th time, you're like, I can't get off the floor. I'm laughing too hard.
But here's
Yeah.
the thing. So like I really personally, my wife was like, what's wrong with you? Because when I had the eagle taking the sandwich and
Yeah.
fucking flying across the thing, that was pretty good.
Yes.
But the funny part is so I'm listening back to the story because obviously when we're shooting it,
Yeah.
I'm paying attention to
Oh, yeah.
cameras. Me and Fernando are going back and forth, whatever, right?
Right.
So you get to the part where you say this fucking eagle takes your sandwich.
Right.
And then you're like, yeah, and there's like fucking 30 eagles hanging out at the dumpster.
dumpster. You
And
found
I'm
the
like,
shot.
Well, no, I was like
Yeah.
this. I go, okay, Phil's exaggerating.
Nope.
There's no fucking eagles
No,
hanging out at
it's
dumpsters.
fucking ridiculous.
I type in Alaska,
Yeah.
eagles, dumpster,
Yeah.
and there's like 100 fucking pictures of Alaskan eagles eating dumpsters and shit. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, our friend, so a buddy of mine I went to high school with, Pete Wickheiser, he's lived in Alaska for a long time. He said, having lived in Alaska for almost 20 years, made 3 trips up the Alcan and 2 down, all in a car, though. I can tell you that, yes, the road is paved. Barely. I think they paved it in the late 90s, so I was there in the early 90s when it wasn't paved. He said, I think they paved it in the late 90s and they haven't touched it since. There are still pockets of gravel and chip tar, but almost anything that's paved has frost heaves in it now. Just imagine driving or riding on a washboard for hundreds of miles. I do. I know exactly what it was
you
like.
definitely do.
If you just made it into Alaska, then turned around, you didn't really get to see any redeeming parts of the state. Yes, Alaska is definitely for the hardy soul. He's 20 years he's lived in Alaska.
Wow.
And I mean, no shit. He's straight up. He's a fucking hero for doing it. I went to high school with the guy, and he's super duper military guy, and I think he might be in Virginia now, so he's doing well. And he said the insane thing is there are people who live up there and ride motorcycles through just about any weather as long as the ice is actually off the road, and many don't even wait for that. He says, another great story, Phil. So, I mean, it's fucking cool. Really, really cool. He goes, to summarize, because of little flying things, it was unpleasant on a motorcycle. Because of big flying things, you lost your lunch. So your conclusion is next time you will ride on an extremely big flying thing, so you arrive in Alaska unmolested by the little and big flying things.
We got some great commenters, man.
You know what? Our comments are really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
dude.
comments are pretty fucking hilarious. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Find the birder dude if you can, man.
Yeah, Yamarick says, I think you might have missed a few Alaska screeches there. Yeah.
On purpose.
Yes, exactly. Did anyone else notice the glasses of whiskey turned into beer steins when Phil started talking about the Alps? Yeah, good job, Steve Sleepy. Yeah. It is Hostic. Dan again, the world's greatest podcast listener.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
going to get a hero fucking trophy.
Yes, he is.
He's going to get a hero trophy for just being Dan. The motherfucker is cool. He says, another drinking challenge thrown down. When you hear the eagle, you have to take a drink.
Yeah, he's on it. Yeah, that's
dude,
a fucking good
right.
one.
Dude,
I think the last
man.
one's the birder.
All right, Sleepy, I'll be the asshole. A for effort, D for reality. But I won't blame you. I'll blame Americans for wanting a national bird that doesn't sound like a seagull. But again, I love the effort and it made me giggle. Don't think you're alone in your mistaken information. Poor John saying bald eagles were the size of buzzards when he more than likely meant vultures. Again, an American issue. Only in America will this happen. Am I nitpicking?
I apologize for that, by the way.
Am I nitpicking? Yeah. But it's because I'm passionate about my birds. Maybe this winter Steve will let me hunt his property with my hawk as long as you guys haven't killed off all the squirrels or rabbits. Fuck yeah, dude.
Read the replies because he comes back and it's a fucking...
Dude is like straight up legit. That's badass. So he's like, yeah,
if Steve
okay.
were here right now, he'd want to know if you could take out also the raccoons and gophers or groundhogs.
Groundhogs. We would love to meet your hawk. What's the WS of said bird? WS?
Oh.
Wingspan.
Oh, wingspan. Oh, technical terms.
Yeah,
what's the wingspan?
cool.
WS.
You know,
It's got about a 7-inch wingspan.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's it. There we go. It's just like, if you shave it first, allegedly. He says, I'm currently without a bird. Many falconers choose to release their birds back to the wild during the summer. I'll trap and train another bird this fall. I didn't know you could do that.
Me neither.
I didn't know you could like straight up fresh
This
train
guy
them.
blew my mind, man.
And then I'll keep up to date and hopefully show you guys some great squirrel chases. Squirrel!
Oh, this guy's all right, man.
Oh, fucking A, dude. That's great.
We got to take him down to Lakewood Park.
Dude, I got squirrels that moved into the neighborhood tree right here. And this is like, they're rowdy as fuck. And then I got a chipmunk that just moved into my shop. And
have you ever seen the game cameras of chipmunks? They're not friendly. They eat each other and fuck each other up and all kinds of shit, man.
I just want to build a chipmunk catapult. So I just figure a chipmunk trebuchet or a chipmunk catapult. But a trebuchet, by the time it gets going, the thing can get away.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's got to be more like a triggered release thing. I'm thinking like surgical tubing.
Yeah.
A lot of surgical tubing.
Like 4 rubber bands and a colander.
Yes.
Or this guy could just
Have
bring
you
a
seen
hawk.
the spinning squirrel feeders or the spinning bird feeders?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the squirrels crawl up. As soon as their weight grabs hold of it, it starts spinning.
Really?
And now they're holding on.
Yeah.
They're holding on for dear life. And it goes faster and faster and faster. And all of a sudden, squirrel.
They taught us how to do the trick with a coconut, where you take the coconut and you tie it to a tree. You tie it off to a tree. You put a hole in the coconut that's just slightly bigger than a nut.
Do you add lime and drink it all up?
You do that later. You do that before. But you put the nut in. The nut just barely fits through the hole. And the monkeys, Central America, they come along and they find these things. And they, coconut. They shake it. There's a nut in there. They know there's a nut in there because they're monkeys. Mm-hmm. And they put their hand in the little hole and they grab the nut.
Oh, and they can't.
And they don't let go of the nut. But then they got the fucking coconut on the end of their fist. But they're tied to the tree now, so you can go up and smash them in the head and eat them.
Oh, no.
So, but the thing is, they won't let go of the fucking nut.
Yeah.
So they could let go of the nut and be free. But anyway, I digress. That's in an Army survival manual, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I learned that there.
But this whole bird thing is just. I was
that's cool,
really
man.
excited.
That's
about
just
the bird
super cool.
thing. Yeah.
Normally they tell you don't ever read the comments.
Oh, our comments
But
are
the
amazing.
Moto Story comments are like fucking cool, man.
Yeah,
So
man.
gotta love them.
Also, in the last couple of weeks, we've been gaining quite a few followers, or subscribers. So it's been, thank you so much to anybody subscribing. It's like we don't do it, we don't make anything from anything, but it just lets us know that our efforts aren't going for nay. You know what I mean?
True,
Like,
and that's funny because this is one of those ones where I had to give our report card to the Manscaped people.
Yeah.
Because they always want to know, like, well, how many downloads did you get last week?
Right.
So I'm not even looking at the iTunes or whatever thing. I'm just going straight to Buzzsprout, just to where our shit's hosted. So I'm just going there and just seeing whatever their number is. Yeah, we've been running it over 5,000. So we're running it well over 5,000 hits a week. That's pretty fucking rad. So,
But we did achieve one thing with Moto Stories last week.
Oh, what did we do?
100% male.
Are we really 100% male? We don't have one vagina watching our show?
No.
Wow.
So your wife must have stopped watching at some point. So.
No, because our TV's registered through me.
Okay.
My
okay,
YouTube's
okay,
registered through
My
me.
daughter watched.
Yeah,
All
but
right, well,
does she have a registered YouTube account in her name?
No.
See? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that means Liza's not even watching.
Well.
Okay. All right. Uncle Liza. Fair enough. You beat me to it. Okay. Good enough. Yeah, can't let that one go.
Our age group is interesting enough.
75 and up.
35 through 60.
35 through 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. That's cool. All right. Yeah. I will admit, our thing is we might need to get another female guest.
Maybe.
Having Merritt on, that was cool and all, but we might need to go back to that again.
Yeah. Well, we did with your Saturday. I mean, no, there's no females, but but that's a deep dive. We're gonna have to come up with a name like Phil's Choice Cuts or Phil's Secret Select.
What do you mean from our
the scooter one? Because you guys went deep.
We did go deep. Yeah, we did go deep. Yeah, you know what the $1 million hit's gonna be, right?
What's that?
The one that nobody can get. Renee.
Oh, yeah.
Renee.
Yeah, Renee.
Because Renee's been here she's been my friend for 25 years.
Well, she's the secret one that actually runs the shop.
She does. Anybody who's ever worked here knows that pretty much if Renee doesn't approve it, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's it. I ask Renee when I can take time off.
Well, you know what was neat is that Saturday she got to see the whole process for the first time.
Yeah.
So I think maybe she might be open to it.
She might be a little curious. Yeah. But she's got, she's been there for some stuff. Like,
all I can say is you ain't no Discovery Channel, and if that didn't do it, I don't know what would.
Oh, yeah.
We're way better. We have no people telling us what we can't say.
I think that Discovery Channel thing, I'm glad that my staff was all smart enough to back the fuck away from that. Yeah, because I think that there's no upside to that thing. But I do think if we could get Renee to do Moto Stories, because, people come in the shop all the time who are podcast listeners. And yes, Renee does walkthroughs here. Like, if you listen to this podcast long enough, you'll know that Renee works out in, here. And you'll know that Renee wanders through and she sometimes hangs out. But podcast listeners are like, oh my God, am I going to get to meet Renee? And I'm like, hang around long, you might meet John. I don't know,
she really goes out of her way to help anybody. Like this winter, like when you guys were closing, and I was like, I'm gonna be late. She stayed late and got me shock oil. Like she is awesome.
Well, she does, and she packages all the Patreon swag.
Yep.
She makes all of our T-shirts. So every T-shirt that has something on it, she makes that in her underwear. Right? It's true. Been there, done that. Yeah, it's real. Picture that, if you will. So let the mind wander. So yay, that's pretty badass. So cool. Anybody got anything else?
No.
Fuck that, man.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I just want to say that I've been here for 2 years being a part of this podcast.
This is a sad thing. We have to be sad now.
Well, yeah, everybody start crying real quick. It's
been a joy and an honor, and I really do. You've been a good guy.
We're gonna miss you.
We're certainly
Nick.
gonna miss you. I know Steve keeps saying, "Man, I can't believe we're gonna leave Nick," but I hope you get to come back and visit here and there.
Yeah, you know what, Nick?
Like
you did something for me that, like, you gave me hope for humanity of young people.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm a good representation.
No, I think it
there's
works the
some
other
of
way.
you out
I think
there.
we made him 50.
Oh, okay.
I think when we met him, he was 20. Now he's 50. We've taken a perfectly good young person and made him into a 50-year-old man. I saw the way he was walking earlier. He walks like we do. The man looks like he's got injuries well beyond his years. He got into the Miata and he made this sound. He pulled some dad shit. Getting
He
out
is
of the
wearing
Miata.
jorts. I'll say.
Well, yeah. No, but I mean, this all started out. I brought a beaver pelt here.
I remember
and
that.
I traded that for a raffle ticket.
We do have it.
And I didn't win a Moto Guzzi, but I won some really good friends and some really mediocre ones as well. And for that, I am truly thankful. And I'll be around. And I'm coming to Mid Ohio.
Yeah, you'll be in Mid Ohio.
And everybody listening should subscribe to my YouTube channel.
That's right. It's called Nick Makes and Breaks Things.
Exactly. Nick makes and breaks stuff.
Oh, it's stuff.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
All right.
And Dan is already a watch. He comments on my videos. And
Nick makes and breaks stuff. It's awesome.
Yep.
Do you know what else we need to do?
What?
That we can meet you for? Because it's down your way.
What?
Barber.
Oh yeah. I was actually looking up how far it was from me.
It's
and
not far.
Well, it's still pretty far, but it's closer than from here. That's for sure.
Yes, it is.
Well, no, but like, we can ride and then like completely destroy your apartment and then go to Barber.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the magic of Barber is that it's Mid-Ohio with your pinky in the air.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we will be. Yeah. We can probably attend it once.
Well, that's the thing is I do really want to check out Barber, and there's no people that I would rather check it out with than you guys.
I think that would be a rollicking good
Absolutely.
idea, and it's the right time of the season.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a really good thing. Shit's chilled out enough at the shop that I can go and really commit to it. That's badass.
Let's get a round of applause for Nick.
Yeah,
Can we get a round of
amen,
applause?
man. Seriously, Nick, well done. And again, the guy rides a Vespa.
Yep.
Right?
Well, not currently. It doesn't run. But
Okay, just disconnect his mic. He's
He's going to
It's
disqualify
time for you to
anything we do to give him that. So yeah, so that's it. So I guess we're going to say, as we have changed as a podcast over the 11 years, right? Over 11 years, people have come, people have gone, that kind of stuff. But you're always welcome to any of our shit that we do, I mean,
If
the
you,
compound shit. You know, do you have a key?
No,
you
but,
don't have a
but
key?
I could find a way in.
and no, if you
can
ever
give you-
if you ever come back up,
Right.
you're more than welcome to ride anything we own except for
Absolutely.
my blue bike.
No, he's allowed to do anything he wants, but no center stands.
Right.
Yeah, that's okay. I already wrecked that one. But
I love it, man. On that, I think we got to say ride fast and take chances.
100%.
Play us out, John.
Press
Press the red button. Press